12 rebounds, 3 assists, whatever besides that. But 3 for 19. Only person that took more shots yesterday was Brandon Ingram. And that Pelicans team needs Zion back badly.
But the ball was getting up in the air across the league last night. It wasn't a lot of running stuff.
Yeah. There's a couple games, and the lowest scoring game was the Wizards-Raptors thing going on.
It was ugly, yeah.
Raptors are bad, Brett.
Well, I had the Raptors down there really low. I mean, in 2 years ago, they were, or will be 3 come springtime or June when they won it. They'll be 3 years removed from their title. Mm-hmm. But they've done a lot to their team, and they're kind of redecorating.
Right. And obviously Kyle Lowry out of there. Pascal Siakam is not participating right this second. But the 2 nationally televised games last night.
They got their title.
Yes, they did.
I'll trade with them.
I didn't expect it to collapse all that quickly. And Kawhi, you knew, was a big part of that.
I knew Freddie Van Fleet wasn't a centerpiece to a team, though. He's really good.
He's very good. He's all-star caliber type guy.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into the Batman and Robin talk.
Okay. Yeah, we don't need that.
No.
I don't want that. Not today.
That was not. That was not going to be our first round.
Brett, we already disagreed on Ricky Rubio today. We don't need to talk. We don't need to bring up superheroes.
Ricky Rubio, man, if you'd have had that one, that was the big winner, wasn't it?
Yes. The 2 nationally televised games last night. The first one was very fun to watch. Knicks-Celtics. Knicks pull it out in 2 OT. Jaylen Brown.
Madison Square Garden's thumping like that, it's good.
Jaylen Brown had 46, but Jason Tatum last night, 7 for 32 for 15 from 3. I don't think he'll have another one like that this year. I'm going to go ahead and say it. 2 for 15 is a different level of bad.
That was a fun night of basketball. It was a good football game. I watched a lot of that. Gabe, I don't want to be too over the top on Coastal Carolina, but I watched a lot of that game. That quarterback can play for anybody. Mm-hmm. Their offensive line, Gabe, they don't have a single guy over 6'1".
Right.
Truly, out of 130 teams in college football, I think 70 could beat them.
Real quick, the other nationally televised game, Nuggets-Suns. Nuggets pulled that one out on the road, 110-98. But no, that game, that college football game was fun to watch. And you called it. I think you didn't necessarily call your shot, but you were talking about Coastal Carolina being number 14, not very deserving.
No way. That was just by virtue of that 0 setting out by them. And I know why people that vote do that. I wish they wouldn't. There might be a team out there with 3 losses that are more meritorious than Coastal Carolina. You got to look at who they're playing. And I know their comeback is they can only play who they're scheduled against. I understand that, but you got to realize that who they're scheduled against is not anybody.
Right. You know what the fun stat about the upset last night is, though, right? First win for App State over a ranked opponent since Michigan in 2005.
September 1st, 2007, wasn't it?
No, it's 5.
I thought it was fall of 07. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure it was 07 because my oldest nephew was a senior in high school, and we were in Fayetteville that day for Arkansas and Troy.
It's 07. You're correct.
Yeah, and because he was a senior in high school, and we were making our rounds on various trips. Tonight, NFL Week 7, it's on us. Boy, it goes by fast. And FanDuel Sportsbook, they want you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. Thursday night is a great opportunity to give it a try. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more. If your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10 tonight. You got to scan those lineups well because I think Baker Mayfield's a scratch. So look for the Browns quarterback number and the over passing yards there. Nick Chubb, if he's healthy, and a rushing number there and over total points in the fourth quarter. Fast payouts, easy to use, safe and secure. And America's #1 sports book, it's at FanDuel. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. New to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code CASH to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on the Sunday afternoon matchup between Houston and Arizona. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code CASH so they know I sent you. Must be 21 or older. And present in Tennessee, refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on mobile and on the web. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis. As Gabe said at the top of this show, the one and only Lexus dealership in town, 901-362-8833. They're at 2600 Ridgeway, and they are online at lexusofmemphis.com. And the 2022s rolling in. I was by there this morning, and literally truckloads coming by, rolling in with the 22s. 21, still plenty of them, and you always have special leasing options at Lexus of Memphis. Stop by today at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2021 or 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. 901-362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Another easy one. Grizzlies-Cavs. Grizzlies beat them 132-121. 132-121 in regulation. John Morant was sensational. 37 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks. 2 blocks. And the one on Lauri Markkanen was unbelievable. And the shooting confidence was there for him. His green light, he's way more confident shooting the basketball. Desmond Bane, DeAnthony Melton combined for 42, 6 for 12 from 3. That could be a revelation for this team. And Bane, I knew DeAnthony Melton could create. Desmond Bane, the creation is starting to come along. He has some things that he could be better at, but I loved Grayson. I did, obviously, with the Bucks now in their starting rotation. But those two guys do more, in my opinion. They play better defense. They're able to put the ball on the ground a little better. So I like the fact that they're getting their due now. And also Steven Adams. I thought he looked fantastic in his Grizzlies debut, did the dirty work, did what he was asked to do. He's not a black hole when he gets the ball, doesn't need to be a high-usage guy offensively, passes out of the post. So I appreciated that. Jaren Jackson Jr., I mean, it was okay. The 4 blocks were the thing that I think highlighted his night. He shot decently well from the three-point line.
How was the in-building show? How was the game op show?
It was great.
Good.
It was great.
They usually nail it.
And only 2 fouls for Jaren Jackson. Only 2 fouls last night, and that's
a season career low, isn't it?
That's a great thing to see. And now
he's bigger, isn't he?
He's
bulkier.
For John Morant, the most points in a regular season opener in Grizzlies franchise history, he owns 1 and 2. He had 44 last year, 37 this year. And they tied, or not tied, but the 5th most in franchise history points at half, 73. I thought they looked fantastic last night. It was a good show. It was great to be back in the FedEx Forum.
I'm right there with you. My top story, can't go 82-0 unless you start 1-0, and the Grizzlies did that last night, powered by its superstar, its quintessential market maven superstar, Ja Morant, 37 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. Only 1 of 4 from 3. Ja did his thing, and in front of an announced crowd of about 16,000, the Grizzlies start 1-0, off to a Saturday against the Clippers in L.A. Next home game, October 30th against the Miami Heat. I think Ja Mania will grow and grow and grow.
Not top story of the day.
My not top story, and this is because I don't know how this was ever a thing in the NFL, but race norming is now to be halted. Race norming, for those that don't know, when we're talking about the $1 billion settlement in 2013 that NFL players agreed to as far as concussion protocols and getting several concussions, it assumed black players started with lower cognitive function. I don't know how in 2013 this was an agreed upon rule
There's no study backing that, is it?
I have no idea
it can't be. That's ridiculous.
I have no idea how this was ever part of.
I mean, there's a baseline for cognition, isn't it?
Of any type of settlement, and there's actually a number here. It says white players were actually 2 or 3 times. They got 2 or 3 times more qualifications on these settlement checks than black players. And obviously 70% of the active players and 60% of the living retirees are
That's
black.
That's 3/5 human ridiculousness there.
Oh, it absolutely is. And we do have to applaud Najee Davenport and Kevin Henry because they are the first 2 people to notice this and to call it out.
That's right. I remember the case now with Najee Davenport. He played at the U, didn't he?
I believe so, and they are the ones who called this out for what it was, and they're getting the rule changed. So I'm glad to see this end.
Gabe, that doesn't even sound. I mean, that doesn't even sound like you could bring that up satirically. It wouldn't be satiric. I don't know. You could even. That's
it wasn't
outlandish.
noticed until 2017, Brett. This was not noticed
Gabe,
until 2017. 2013.
Took a long time for us to notice a lot of things.
2013
sadly.
is when when they enacted all of these settlement checks, and that was part of the
My
deal.
top story pales in comparison, but I think they got it right, and it is a really good group, and I hope people will give them a chance. They want to be a partner in this town. The good people of Simmons Bank, based out of Pine Bluff and Little Rock, they listened and they've reacted. They're going to name the stadium Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. It's going to keep that tie in there, and I think it's apropos, and that'll be fun to let it ring like that out at where the Tigers play at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
Why not add Liberty Bowl? I mean, I don't want to pick too hard into it.
I think they would want the Liberty Bowl game to pay for some of that.
Right. That's an interesting one to me. But Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, and I know they were having some internal strife about it. They were going back and forth, but I'm glad they finally came to on what it's going to be called and how they're going.
But
to
that's the home of the
market
AutoZone Liberty Bowl game, and we know that here, but we'll have to tell that story nationally.
Yep. But that is our top and our not top story of the day. Rundown for today. On the other side, we'll have Bill Bender talking college football from the Sporting News. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from the NBA. A lot of NBA to discuss with him, Yahoo Sports and Spot Track. 4:30, we will have our Thursday night football picks, and there's also a big game in the AAC tonight. I say big game, but it's SMU, one of the ranked teams in the AAC versus Tulane, who's 1-5, a surprising 1-5, honestly a good 1-5 team, believe it or not. 5 o'clock, we'll have Jason Munns from the CA to talk Tigers in the AAC. Greg Gaston could not join us because of scheduling conflicts with traveling with the Tigers. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. 5:45, it'll be Taco Bell Crunch Time. But we'll be right back on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
It's a new show with a new time. But Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane are back with Sports 56 Grind Time. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for some action? Sports gambling is legal in Tennessee. Action247.com. Local, legal. A sportsbook by Tennesseans, for Tennesseans. Go to Action247.com. Register and place your bets. Are you a sharp or a first-time bettor? Action 24/7 has you covered. Visit us online at Action247.com. Local, legal. Action 24/7. You got action.
Problem gambling? Call 1-800-889-9789.
It's time to get peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty, and Gossett's got the goods to put you on the road today. 2021 Kia Forte, 41 MPG Highway, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S Hatchback, 41 MPG, ready to road trip at $258 a month. Get turbo power with 2022 Kia Soul, $267 a month. And they're not leases, you own them. Forte, $249, Rio, $258, Soul, $267. You want it? We Gossett at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we Gossett at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, NE 409-215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, NE 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Sold, N 7808-276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos, only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito, homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas, big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget those strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
The bridge is open. Now it's really easy to take the 15-minute drive to Cypress View Golf and Recreation and enjoy the spectacular upgrades made to the clubhouse and golf course. The fairways are looking great and the greens are better than ever. No traffic, no excuses. If you're tired of paying greens and cart fees, Cypress View has a membership that includes unlimited golf, cart, range balls, and more. A family membership is just $199 per month plus tax. Members also have access to the Olympic-sized pool, fitness center, and tennis courts. The golf shop is stocked with FootJoy apparel, Titleist bags, and equipment. A huge selection of Puka headwear and more. Cypress View Grill has a wide selection of choices from burgers to brats, Phillies to quesadillas, flatbreads to oven-fired pizzas. You're covered from golf to goods to grub. And now Cypress View has a beer license, so grab a cold one in the grill. See why Cypress View Golf and Recreation is one of the fastest growing clubs in the Mid-South. Call 870-739-6305 or visit online cypressviewgolf.com.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brian Davis producing the program. Autos on listener line 901-360-8255. You can also watch us live, message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. But at this point in the show, on a Thursday, it's always customary to get to our friend from the Sporting News, Bill Bender, to talk some college football. How are you, Bill?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, always. I have to start here because we're in AAC territory with Memphis. UAB, Charlotte, FAU, North Texas, Rice, UTSA all joining up with the AAC, probably 23-24. How do you feel about these additions? I know that here in Memphis, a lot of people are still hoping that they get out and get to the Big 12, but how do you feel for the AAC about these additions?
I mean, this is business, and these smaller conferences are going to try to survive by any means necessary, and I think that's a lot of it's TV markets, TV money. How do you maintain the integrity of your league? And maybe Memphis still does move on, but I think the shifting between those group of 5 conferences, other than the MAC, which, kind of seems set in its ways, is what it is at this point.
And I think there's a lot of people sort of bagging on the AAC and Mike Oresco for these additions, but it sort of seems like they didn't have anywhere else to turn.
Like Bill said, it's business, Bill, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I mean, who else are you going to get at that point?
Right.
I think that graphic a couple weeks ago, I think it was of somebody like a fish eating a bigger fish, eating a bigger fish. That's just where we're at right now. Certain schools are going to continue to play, and others, it's just not going to happen. So I don't know. I mean, I'd give it a chance first, and we'll see how the conference realignment continues from here.
Bill, this weekend, and in my lifetime, and I love it when it's the Notre Dame game. It's an October matchup. When it's a Los Angeles game, it's Thanksgiving weekend, late in the year, often matchup. I don't ever remember in my life a quieter, more ho-hum USC going to South Bend to play Notre Dame, and I don't like that. But then I was driving to Oxford today, and I was thinking about, we can't have every big name on top at the same time. Somebody has to recede. I mean, right now Nebraska and the U are very, very down. Texas trying to get back to their once proud perch. USC changing coaches again. You can't have all them up and Oklahoma, Penn State, Alabama, and Notre Dame is up for now. Michigan looks like they're certainly getting up. It's impossible for them all to be up at the same time, isn't it?
No, it is. And, yeah, I mean, I think a big piece of it for me is that USC needs to get their act together. Notre Dame's fine. Notre Dame's 5-1.
That's right.
Notre Dame's got, they might not be Notre Dame playoff contender, but they're Notre Dame good enough to get to a New Year's Day Six Bowl. So,
proud.
Yeah, and then, until that changes, I don't see any difference in my assessment. But to your point, yeah, I mean, USC Notre Dame's one that we all grew up with, expected it to be huge, and that's just not the case on a weekend where, quite frankly, there isn't a game between a ranked team and two ranked teams. It's a pretty drab weekend as far as college football goes.
And I really think when you look at around college football, we need that USC job to be taken over by somebody who can elevate it. How important do you think that job is, that program is to the West Coast and college football in general?
Oh, I mean, it's huge. I mean, the Pac-12 needs their big brands to be good. It'd be like if Ohio State and Michigan were both bad.
Right.
The Big Ten would have some issues, but they're not. So, yeah, I think it's something to watch, but USC needs the right coach, and they haven't found the right coach since Pete left. I mean, they've played whatever you want to call it, musical chairs with Lane and Ed and others, but it's just not there right now. So I think they need that coach that's going to be able to recruit on the West Coast and dominate the recruiting trail and keep those high visibility prospects at home. And until that happens, they're probably going to continue to struggle.
Bill, bigger game for Heisman potential. Matt Corral, if he's able to go in Oxford against LSU, or Kenny Pickett at home at Heinz Field against the Clemson Tigers?
Probably Kenny Pickett because, I mean, he was our midseason All-American choice. He's a really good quarterback, super senior. Glad to see him doing good things with the Panthers. But, Corral, I think he had the game against Alabama in that opportunity, and that matters to me less now because it's just about how many numbers can he put up. Can he get Ole Miss to a New Year's Day 6 berth? I guess those things are possible, and if he can't, what happens from there? So I like his chances, though. I think the Heisman question in general is really tough for me, guys, because I've been getting it all week, and I honestly have no clue who the Heisman favorite is, and that's a good thing.
That is a good thing, and that's okay to say that. And look, it's week 8. We're not supposed to have definition yet.
Well, I tell you what, if he played from the beginning of the season, it would probably be Caleb Williams.
Right.
Because I'm just looking at total stud. We talked about that last week. I mean, 7 quarters. I don't know that there's a better quarterback throwing the football off the run than he is.
And I will continue to say C.J. Stroud, even though I know the fan base was sort of up in arms early in the season after that loss to Oregon, he seems like a guy who down the stretch of the season could make a lot of cases with how that Big Ten East is shaping out.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's going to be high-drama games in the Big Ten East every weekend, and that's a good thing for the Big Ten. It starts this weekend not so much, but next weekend when you get Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State firing off at the same day, I mean, that's going to tell you all you need to know. Next weekend's going to be a lot of fun.
So, Bill, with staying in the Big Ten, was Iowa always, in your opinion, somewhat I hate to use the word that I'm about to use, but somewhat phony in regards to being a college football playoff contender? Or did you really think there for a while that they really could run the table and put themselves in a good position?
I would say flawed, but,
yeah, I would too.
And Purdue showed why. I mean, they get in the game, and Purdue controlled the tempo in that game. Sometimes you bump into a coach that teams you up right. And for whatever reason, if you look back at the matchup, Jeff Brom teams Kirk Ferentz up pretty good, and that showed. And I would say there's a difference between good and elite, and you hear Kirby Smart talking about it. And in my mind right now, the elite is Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and I think Cincinnati, we want to see Cincinnati try it, because I think the Bearcats are pretty darn good, guys.
I do too.
I mean, especially on that defensive side, they're salty.
And I came out of the bowl game loss more impressed with them than almost any win they've had the last 2 years. And Gabe and I were texting back and forth New Year's Day of 2021.
Yep.
They were matching Georgia with physicality. And if you can do that, then you just got to get a play or two to go your way, and you don't need the penalty they got right before the half that really hurt them. Bill, what you're talking about, that super elite class, and then that next grouping, and whatever team you want to throw in there, it's all show me, don't tell me for those teams. Year in and year out, unfortunately, Iowa State kind of gets that. Ole Miss gets that. When Arkansas is good, they get that. When Mississippi State was 5 weeks at number 1 in the fall of 2014, they were getting that. You do it over the long march of history, not kind of a little bit here and a little bit there. This isn't platform diving that you get to throw the high and the low out. This is year in, year out. Show me, don't tell me.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some other schools that we'll see. I mean, Michigan, we'll see. We'll see if
Oklahoma
they can
State.
beat Michigan
Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State's got a tremendous opportunity, and then they're an underdog. Oregon is being treated a little bit differently because they haven't looked like the team that went into Columbus and won. But they're still in decent position as long as they win the Pac-12, and they got a big one against UCLA this weekend. So, yeah, it's exactly – you got to show it every week. That elite class of college football team is still there. And for all the craziness we've had this year, and I've loved it, it still feels a little bit like we're going to get the same old answers at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, too. You look at the past few years, especially in the Big Ten, Northwestern has always been a player. This weekend, you would usually look at that Michigan-Northwestern.
Look out.
You would say, oh, my gosh, I would put Michigan on upset alert, but this year Northwestern's just not quite what they've been.
And I feel like Harbaugh's got a team this year that's kind of different. And I say that because they were able to go to Wisconsin and win. I know the Badgers have struggled. They typically lose that Nebraska game a couple weeks ago, at least in recent seasons. This Northwestern game typically gets close, and it could. I mean, Pat could have his guys up, but, Michigan's kind of had their number over the years, and I think they're going to stay focused, get to that Michigan State game, and give us what we want is a matchup in the Mid-State between 2 7-0 teams. That'll be pretty cool.
Yesterday, Bill, we visit with Gabe's brother, Alex Kuhn, who does talk radio in Cedar Rapids, Iowa at KGYM, and does it so very well, covering the Big Ten and all of college football, but obviously right there in the middle of Big Ten country. And we started talking about the schedule for the next few weeks in the Big Ten, and I was one of these guys. Look, I love the system now. I'll love the system when they expand it. But when we didn't have a playoff, I was one of the guys screaming from the rooftops, we have a playoff in college football. It's called the regular season. Well, the playoff really starts next week for a lot of teams in the Big Ten.
Oh, it does. And November is going to be fun. There's going to be a lot of high-profile showdowns in the Big Ten, and game day is probably going to be a lot of them. And I didn't know that was Gabe's brother. I talk to them every once in a while.
Yeah.
They're a good crew.
Yes, sir.
Yep. That's awesome.
That's my brother.
That's good
awesome.
young men.
They do a good job there, too. So, but yeah, I think the Big Ten's going to have a showcase month, and the only big question is, do they beat up on each other a little too much? Does the round-robin losses start, and we end up with a bunch of teams with 2 losses? I doubt that happens, but it's going to be fun finding out.
Is Penn State still in the hunt in the Big Ten right this second? I know we just talked about their schedule and Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, but with that loss against Iowa, are they still in the hunt for a college football playoff?
I mean, they've got the Clifford excuse, and I've heard it, and it's not an excuse. He got hurt. It might have been a different game if Clifford doesn't leave the game. I understand all that. But they've got to run the table. They've got to go to Columbus, and they've got to beat Sparty, and they've got to beat Michigan, and that's been a tough series.
Seems like a really tall task for that team, though, based on
I don't
what
know
I saw.
if they can do it. That's four huge games in a month, so they're going to have to get really hot to do it. And, again, I don't know that I trust any of these teams as solid as they've been in spots to beat Ohio State. And my editors and coworkers are getting annoyed with it, but I just keep telling them, wake me up when Ohio State loses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's true.
Well, what am I supposed to do? I mean, yesterday was the 3-year anniversary of their last Big Ten loss. They haven't lost since that Purdue game. That primetime Purdue game with Haskins, and obviously memorable for Tyler Trent and everything that happened there at Purdue. But they haven't lost since. They dominated this conference,
That's
arguably
remarkable.
more than any other team has in the Power Five.
You sort of run out of things. But as far as defense goes for them, are they? I mean, I know Kerry Coombs is halted as the defensive defensive play caller there. Are they going to move on from him probably after the season?
I mean, we'll see, but I mean, he'll probably still have a role on that team. He's been there forever, and he's done a nice job.
Right.
So we'll see.
Because that's been sort of their problem this year, I think, as a whole.
Yeah, and I mean, he'll still have a part on that side. It's that back seven against a real offense that we're going to see if those questions are answered. They do have a ton of five-star talent on the defensive front. I think they've lined up a little bit better, but when they play an actual high-powered offense, we get to see those questions answered in live. And I don't know how they'd fare against a Georgia or an Alabama right now. I think Oklahoma, Ohio State would probably be one of the more fun games that we could possibly watch.
We really are building to the most significant November in the history of college football. We are.
Oh, it's going to be fun, yeah. I mean, all these big games, all these big moments. And, we talked about realignment at the top. The constantly changing sport still produces a pretty consistent November. It's probably my favorite month of the year in terms of football. And we're going to get to see it in real time. That's why this week it's okay that it's not that great. I don't anticipate there's a lot of upsets this weekend. I am genuinely curious to see what Clemson does with Pitt and the implications of that game if Clemson loses. But other than that, I think it's going to be a pretty boilerplate weekend.
And honestly, last weekend, though, you thought it was going to be unassuming. It was anything but. Last thing for Bill Bender, if Cincinnati runs the table and wins the AAC championship, is there any way that the committee could leave them out of the college football playoff?
I think the easiest way to do it will be if Alabama beats Georgia, because they'll put Alabama and Georgia in, they'll put the Big Ten champion in, they'll put Oklahoma in.
I would hate to see that, Bill.
Lose.
I'd hate to see
that.
I
think that's what's going to happen, though, if Alabama wins. If
Right.
Georgia wins, then we get a Georgia, that would be their excuse to do it, finally. Provided the ACC and the Pac-12 are out of the way and we get all those things, I think that's going to be the one way it happens. But if you're a UC fan, you need to root for Oregon to lose, and you need to root for Alabama. You need to root for Alabama to lose again and Georgia to win the SEC. That's kind of your starter kit.
Mm-hmm. He's our guy, Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Bill, thank you so much.
Hey, no problem, guys. Take care. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bill. We're going to come right back, and I have a couple of things that I want to mention about this Grizzlies game last night, a little more discussion that Brett and I are trying to have on that. We'll do that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Hi, everyone. This is Greg Gaston. After 16-plus years coming to you during the midday hours, Eli Savoy and I have moved to the morning drive. You can join us weekdays from 7 to 10 a.m. for the all-new Sports 56 mornings, only on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Hey, Mid-South. It's time to get your Mitsu on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike. Want great mileage at a great price? How about 43 MPG in your new 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, $179 per month. Get more standard equipment than Ford Escape or Mazda CX-5 in your 2022 Eclipse Cross, $279 per month. Need My Pilot Assist? We Gossett in new 2022 Outlander at $319 a month. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage Eclipse, 84 months at 3.9% APR. Mirage MH010713 MSRP 17055, 3100 down. Eclipse NZ09209 MSRP 26470, 5150 down. Outlander NZ023516 MSRP 29445, 84 months at 4.9, 4500 down. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Tom McCarthy and Mike Golick here from Westwood One with a preview of Thursday Night Football. Week 7 kicks off in Cleveland with the Browns hosting the Denver Broncos. Mike, it's 2 3-3 teams that are looking to turn around their season, but that may be especially tough for the injury-ridden Browns.
So true, Tom. So many unknowns at this point for the Cleveland Browns, and what's worse, it is on a short week for a team that's lost 2 in a row, and at this point now going up against the Denver Broncos, who have lost 3 in a row, come out of the gate so strong at 3-0, now have lost their last 3. While we're not even halfway through the season yet, both these teams are in desperate need of a win to stay near the top of their division.
Join us for the Broncos and the Browns coming up on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, 0 heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. 0 heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your headlights are getting dim? With the seasons changing, now's a great time to change them. Upgrading your headlights can ensure you'll be safe and ready to handle darkness and fog. Oh, and we recommend replacing in pairs. That way you won't have uneven lighting over time. You can get all of your lighting needs fast with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine is celebrating their 35th year. Come in today and choose from a big selection of tequilas, vodkas, and over 70 different single malts. Bourbon whiskey fans will find over 200 bourbons and whiskeys from around the world, along with wines from every region for all you wine enthusiasts. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, 146 Highway 72, Suite 102 in Collierville. It's next to Captain John's Barbecue. Open every day, including Sundays from 10 to 7 for football and all sports fans. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine celebrating 35 years with you.
Corky's is your home for authentic Memphis barbecue. Our dining rooms are open, or stop by our speedy drive-thru. Order your party packs today starting at only $5.99 per person.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Welcome back to what is the final segment of hour number 1 of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brian Dake producing the program. So I wanted to bring this up, Brett. 12 of the 20 highest scoring games in Memphis Grizzlies franchise history are with this new next-gen Grizzlies 2019, 2020, 2021, or 2020, 2021 teams. And last night, 132 is a top 20 all-time as well. And it's just unbelievable to think about, from grit and grind to now, how much this front office, how much this team, the players on it, have embraced a completely different style of basketball.
It is extraordinary to watch, Gabe. And I remember we were proud a lot of nights to get to 95, 96, right, and head over heels to get to 100. It's almost the same metamorphosis, the same evolution that I and you and we've seen in college football, from I formation, huddles, tailback, tight end, ground and pound, the rushing statistic being the holy grail. It's not that anymore in college football. It still matters, but it's not the holy grail.
Yeah, and you mentioned last night in the NBA, opening night more or less, not much defense. I mean, you're talking about everybody scoring over 105, 110
I watched a
points.
lot last night. I watched a lot, and I mean, it was a lot of full-length court drive to the buckets unabated.
Yeah, there's just so much talent on the floor. I mean, everybody can shoot nowadays. It's just it's completely
Everybody's
different.
long.
And
there's not many Smurfy little guys out there.
You now understand a lot of the moves that have been made the past 2 years, why they do these things.
There's no league. It's no league for Muggsy Bogues. It's no league for Tiny Archibald. There's no league for anybody nicknamed Tiny.
No, it's not. It's not.
Or
Everybody's jumbo. I mean, that's speaking of jumbo, the Grizzlies had a plan with their draft pick this past offseason, Zaire Williams. Last night, first return on him, 17 minutes, 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Anything in there that impressed you?
Are we going to do that all year? I'm almost ready. I compared Moses Moody yesterday and looked at his box score. I think we will. I don't think it's the most important thing that we're going to do, but we have to look at it as some form of development and baby steps.
Right. And there was a stretch there in I think the third quarter where he looked solid, but I know they're going to get him minutes. But
Gabe, if we can question Seth Hennigan, we can question Zaire Williams.
No, there's no question. I'm just saying if they're gonna get him minutes, but the consistent. I don't think he should get over 15 minutes a night like he did last night. He's not ready.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a slower process. It's a developmental process. We know that. We also know this. We love Belly Acres, and they're 2 great locations, like the one in Regalia at 6130 Poplar and the one in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Belly Acres motto: City-fied farm fresh. The goal is simple: provide a unique fun farm-to-table experience for the entire family. Signature burgers made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, milkshakes are the best anywhere. You can just delight yourself with that. Just stop by and get a milkshake. They're that good. The burgers, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. All so good, all so fresh. It's the quality brand the Belly Acres team they've developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the big city. The goal at Belly Acres is to become even more sustainable as they grow, and they are growing, soon to add a 3rd location. Now 2 great locations, one in Overton Square and one in Regalia. The very best quality available in Memphis. Burger, shakes, and smiles at our friends at Belly Acres.
Everyone's favorite story just added another chapter today. Ben Simmons and the saga with the 76ers. They won last night, 117-97 over the Pels. And they had a team dinner that Joel Embiid said was fantastic, and everybody was talking about life.
What was the tab on that?
Hoorah. Oh, gosh.
Who picked it?
Where were they at? Were they at Capitol Grill? Were they at No? But where were they at? That's my question.
You know it was high end.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
I hope that waiter didn't bet them to name the non-S ending nicknames.
Well, that waiter.
You don't want to get stuck with that tab.
That waiter got a nice little tip. I'll tell you that much. But another chapter today. Ben Simmons arrived today at the 76ers facility to do a workout. He said his back was hurt. He did not do the workout and ended up leaving. And since then, we have learned that he is not planning on playing tomorrow. They play on ESPN at home against the Nets.
Gabe, he was this disappointing at LSU in that one year that ended poorly and sourly there for him. Everybody made excuses for him. We continue to do that, and now this.
And I have some Jason Kelsey, who's the center for the Eagles, won a Super Bowl with them, had something to say. He was actually asked about it in a presser today, and he had a very interesting quote, and I think a very reasonable quote about it, and I'm going to play that later. And also this, Daryl Morey in a Philadelphia radio interview, and obviously Daryl Morey is the president of basketball ops for the 76ers. He says people should buckle in regards to the Ben Simmons trade. I will not be pressured into trading Ben Simmons. This is going to go on a long time. This is just, oh my gosh. It's the NBA and their constant drama. And Ben Simmons needs to figure it out for himself because it's getting uglier and uglier by the day. He's being vilified more and more, and he is not controlling his own narrative. But on the other side, we might have to ask Keith Smith about this because he comes on to talk from Yahoo Sports and Spot Rack about the NBA. We'll get to that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Week 7 is upon us, and there's a big matchup between Houston and Arizona. FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can end the NFL week right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Sign up with promo code CASH this week before Houston takes on Arizona. You could win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code CASH so they know I sent you, exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of Happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, ME 409,215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Soul, N 7808,276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Guns & Ammo has a full line of Pro Shot products, a tremendous selection of accessories from belts, holsters, gun cases, specialty boxes, Benchmade knives, and assorted optics. At Guns & Ammo, enjoy selecting all your favorite firearms, from hunting supplies to target shooting to self-defense. Experience the excellence at Guns & Ammo with a friendly, knowledgeable staff and hundreds of guns to choose from. Guns & Ammo, 3615 Summer Avenue, Memphis local, and supporting the NRA and Friends of the NRA. Guns & Ammo, family owned since 1985.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Hour number 2 is here. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brian Dacus producing the program. Keep hitting the listener line, 901-360-8255, and watch us live and message us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and at sports56whbq.com. Also at sports56whbq.com. Make sure you check out featured audio on our podcasts on there as well. But without further ado, let's bring on our friend from Spot Track and Yahoo Sports to talk NBA, Keith Smith. Keith, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all. We love having you on here. I'll tell you that much.
Give me the odometer reading for minutes watched so far of the NBA season for Keith Smith.
A lot. I've watched the entirety. Let's see. I watched the first 2 games, and then I've watched the entirety now of, I think, 4 games from yesterday, and I've got a couple more that I'm hoping to get through before the games tip off tonight.
That's beautiful.
And
That's beautiful.
Extended time for the Celtics yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one almost counts like 1.5, it feels like.
Yeah.
I was exhausted, and I was only on the couch all night.
Yeah, that performance there by Jason Tatum night one. I hope he got the bad one out first game of the year, because 2 for 15 from 3-point was pretty rough.
Yeah, and that's what he said post-game. He said he usually has one really bad one per season, and he hopes that was it. And it was tough. He shot 6 for 22 on uncontested field goal attempts, which are generally defined as really good looks, and that's unfortunate.
Keith, we did the proverbial, almost standard issue sports talk radio, all the predictions. We went 1 through 15 in the East, 1 through 15 in the West. We picked Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. We did the whole playoff thing. Gabe Kuhn picked the new coach in Boston, Ume Yadoko, as his Coach of the Year. I think I went Quinn Snyder. Bryant, you went
Nate McMillan.
Nate McMillan. Which one of us may have gotten it right?
Well, I picked Ime Udoka too, so I'm going to lean that way. I think a lot of times Coach of the Year goes to the coach whose team kind of improves the most from the prior season, or at least outperforms expectations. And despite last night's loss, which they played without Al Horford and Josh Richardson, and as we said, Jason Tatum had arguably the worst shooting performance of his career, I still think the Celtics are going to be very good this year. I think they've got really good depth. I think Tatum and Brown are ready to take a leap. We saw Jaylen Brown show what he could do last night. And I think that team is going to end up finishing third in the East with a majorly improved record from the prior season.
Wait, I know that Jaylen Brown was the 3rd overall pick. I understand that much. Was there any inkling he was going to be this good, though? What he did last night, 46, 8 for 14 from 3, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know outside of the Brown family that there was anybody who thought he'd be quite this good. I think his development from his rookie year to now is absolutely remarkable. He could not dribble the ball more than a couple dribbles in a row without putting his head down to look at it. And that is, and rarely was it going to touch the left hand unless it was to immediately cross it back to his right hand. And now he's put together a pretty good off-the-bounce package of moves to get into shots at the rim. His jump shot, he's developed a really nice turnaround. And his range now is as deep as just about anybody in the league, and he's consistent with it. And that's when you add to that his off-the-charts athleticism, his defensive ability, all those things. It's really come together for him over the first few years of his career in a big, big way.
Give us somebody in that Rookie of the Year category with nationwide with all the picks that somebody might have been overlooking. It's kind of a back-of-the-pack Rookie of the Year pick.
Chris Duarte from the Indiana Pacers, and he did have a big first.
I knew you'd come up with a great one.
Yeah, he is. He's older for a rookie, so he is very much going to be. I mean, he was in their starting lineup the other night. He's probably going to stick in there just about all year. It seems like there's some people who think when Karis LeVert gets back, he'll slide out, but I think he's going to stick, and then that'll become Justin Holiday, who started for them opening night, slides out. I think Duarte's ready to play and contribute all year long, and I think he's going to have a big year. I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year, but I think he's going to be somebody who's going to be in the mix for first-team All-Rookie and that, so that's what makes him kind of a good long shot dark horse bet.
And you mentioned the age, 24 years old, and that usually throws people off when you're talking about the NBA draft process. Do you think that part of the NBA draft process is a little bit overplayed?
I do. I think it's always a good tiebreaker, of course, if you're between a couple guys. Go with the younger player. You're just going to get more years out of him. But the reality is, if let's say you're the Pacers and you believe that your pick on the board, Chris Duarte, is the best pick, well, unless you're projecting Chris Duarte to have a 14 or 15-year career, all with you, his age really becomes, to some extent, irrelevant, unless you really believe in that these guys who come in at 23 and 24 are or more finished products. And I think that can be true physically, but I think skill-wise, talent-wise for the NBA, adaptation to the NBA game, that's not as relevant as it can be, physically.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that gets overplayed a little bit.
We did a lot of predictions, and one of mine, and I qualified, will every time. I don't want it to be anything health-related. And last night, good opening night for Greg Popovich and the Spurs, really big over the Magic, win by 26. Do you think he finishes that year with them kind of mired down there in that 12 to 15 range all year, Keith?
I do, but not necessarily that they're going to be that bad of a team. I think it's more just relative to the strength of the Western Conference. I think I had them 11th in the West, and I feel pretty good about that pick. It might have been 12th, but I know it's right around there. But, yeah, I think it's just the West is so good that for them to kind of make that real step forward is going to be hard just because it's there. But they've got better players than I think people realize. It's just the absence of a real true star player on that roster that's going to kind of hold them back.
In All-Star, they don't seem to have it. They have some good young players, and I like some of the makeup of some of the guys, but nobody you're overly afraid of on that San Antonio Spurs roster. Now, as is customary, have to ask, not about Ben Simmons, but about the 76ers without Ben Simmons. How good do you think that franchise can be this year without him in the fold?
They can be good. They can be a team that gets a home court advantage in the playoffs in the first round, but I don't know that they can go much past the second round without Ben Simmons. I just think their ceiling is limited. They're definitely behind Milwaukee and Brooklyn in the East for me, and then that puts them in a pretty big group with Miami, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Atlanta. I think you can kind of give me any order out of those teams, and I'm all right with it. I'm going to have a hard time arguing with you. So to me, that's a good team, but that's not a great team, and that's what they could have been if they were able to get Simmons there and kind of Simmons there with his head screwed on tight.
He seems to have lost the narrative completely, too. I mean, at first it was, Ben Simmons doesn't have to show up to make his trade value better. Now he's missing workouts, not getting kicked out of practice. He is lost in this situation when you're sort of looking at it from the outside.
Yeah, I think they all have. I think everybody looks bad here because the idea that he had to show up to improve his trade value that Philadelphia has kind of put out there, that's absolute nonsense.
I agree.
Everybody knows what Ben Simmons is. He wasn't going to – it's not like Ben Simmons was going to walk in the door and all of a sudden be a 45% three-point shooter and, still retain all the other skills he had. That was never going to be the case. So Philly, pushed that he had to be here to do this and that. That doesn't matter. Now, I can tell you there's a lot of teams, they'll trade for him without ever seeing him practice or play for Philadelphia again because they believe in the talent. And it's always easy with a guy like that to think it'll be better here. That's why these guys who have talent, I don't care what the sport is, they just keep getting opportunities because we all get tantalized by, it won't happen here.
Mm-hmm. Keith Smith with us talking NBA from Spotrac and also from Yahoo. Covers a lot of basketball, watches a lot of basketball. It's good to have it back. Keith, Gabe and I, we went on effusively a few days ago about to get to this night, to get to this season, to get to this time, to get to June and everything finally formally reset. Adam Silver has long ago emerged from the shadow, a big shadow, a long, long shadow of David Stern. But it is something how extraordinarily well he's navigated through COVID with no league being impacted more. Because at the end of it, Keith, all these games are played indoors. Man, it's been tough to be indoors the last 22 months.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the success of the bubble is going to be one of those things when Adam Silver eventually retires. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame, barring something crazy happening between now and the end of his tenure, largely based off what's happened these last few seasons. I think the bubble was a wild success. I think they did so well this last year in kind of keeping things moving. And it was unfortunate. There were players who got sick. There were some who got really impacted, but they were able to work with the Players Association work. He's also been the head of the league side in kind of an unprecedented period of labor peace for the NBA. Even as their CBA came up, that negotiation went extremely smoothly to the point that there was no form of lockout at all, which even in the good years, there's usually a small minor one just because of the technicalities involved. So altogether, I think Adam Silver does a really good job running this thing. And I think he does a good job because, yes, he works for the owners and the teams, but he very much keeps the players and their best interest in mind.
I mean, when you think about American sports, it seems like he's the only one who does it the way he does, with keeping the players in the loop the way he does.
Yeah, I completely agree. Now, to some extent, you can say it's easier because they have by far and away the smallest rosters of the big four sports. It's not in the NFL. You're talking hundreds of players that you need to get buy-in for. Upwards of very, very large numbers. So I think what happens with Adam Silver is it's easier. I think the NBA, maybe more so than any other sports, is a very star-driven league. Major League Baseball is so they're going to do things the way they do things. That is the most old school, in some ways backwards, thinking setup that they have, and they're not going to change. And then the NFL is clearly driven by we're going to do what's best for the team, over and over and over again. And I think part of that is the nature of the average NFL career. I think still is under 4 years long, and that just is it's chase and replace. So I think Adam Silver knows, hey, when we lock in the star players, this is a 15 to what is now going to start to approach 20-year relationship that it's in everybody's best interest if we all work together.
So Tuesday night, we saw the Lakers in action for the first time with their big three of LeBron, AD, Russell. Russell with a very rare triple single, looked rough. Everybody sort of pointing to his usage rate and how he's going to be used with the Lakers. Is this something you think is just sort of a one-game sort of thing, or is something you think you could something you think that could linger? Easy for me to say.
Yeah, it's a risk of overreacting to one game. These were all the problems that I think we all saw, potentially being an issue for the Lakers, and they all kind of played out exactly the way we thought they might. So that is definitely concerning. With that, there were too many possessions where he was either off to the side and just kind of hanging out, or he was controlling the ball when it probably should have been controlled by just about anybody else. So it was definitely concerning for sure to watch the way that one played out.
Back to the labor thing. What I see is one of the biggest things, and I think it's very flattering. I know it's sincere. Is it's real respect from management to the player side. They don't look at them like shut up and dribble. They don't look at them like the NFL. I think sometimes the NFL thinks they can make it with no rain, no rainbows. And they even tried it once upon a time, a long time ago, with replacement players. Baseball, it's driven mostly by the players not having any respect for the owners.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the challenge in the NFL is, and I very much believe this, that there's times, and don't get me wrong, I am still a football fan. I still enjoy the game. But I think there's almost a thought out there of put the mask or the helmet and face mask on them, and it's an anonymous person behind that. And we can put anybody in that helmet and pad, and we're just going to keep this thing moving and rolling forward. And maybe there's truth to that. I don't know. Maybe that is, not completely off base. But I think the problem is when you think that way, you start to devalue the folks that are in those uniforms. And in the NBA, that clearly does not happen. They are very, focused on, hey, these are the guys who drive our game. These are the best players in the world at their sport. We're going to honor that. We're going to push that. This is everything we want it to be. And that's, the big difference.
Talking with Keith Smith of Spot Track and Yahoo Sports. A team that I think there's sort of differing opinions on out of the West is the Mavericks. Where do you see them fitting in this year? They do have Luka, and they have had some discord. I saw a story this morning about a ex-Mavs executive sort of talking about their drama that they had last year with all of the switches in the front office. How do you feel about the Mavs, though, as a whole this year?
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think anytime you're starting with a base of Luka Doncic, you're going to be pretty good. I think that is, an absolute certainty. And then Kristaps Porzingis, I'm still a believer. I'm not out on this guy. I think if he can be what we think he should be, that changes everything for that team because they've got good depth. They've got some good guys around him and around Luka that make a lot of sense. So I think altogether, the Mavs have a chance to be pretty good. I've got them right with Denver, kind of behind Utah, the Lakers, and Phoenix for regular season teams. But I think if Porzingis is good, they become an extremely dangerous postseason team.
It's for keeps in the West.
What was that?
It's for keeps in the West, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without a doubt. It's tough out there. You've got to come with it. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble if you're not bringing it every night. There's not a lot of throwaway games in the Western Conference that you can get away with, and it really becomes out there. You've got to show up every night against all those teams. We talked about it. The Spurs, they don't have stars, but they're good and they're obviously very well coached. So they're going to be after it and playing pretty well.
He's our friend Keith Smith from Spot Track and Yahoo Sports, at Keith Smith NBA on Twitter if you'd like to follow him. Keith, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you.
So a lot of NBA to look forward to. Not so much tonight. We have 3 games on the docket. Mavericks Hawks will be on TNT. Hawks at home.
Kind of just teasing us tonight, aren't they?
Well, and I mean,
it's a crowded sports scene tonight.
Mavs, Hawks, Clippers, Warriors, 2 TNT games tonight. I think is solid. The one that's not on TV, I think, is the best one of the 3, though. Bucks and Heat. I'd like to see that one.
I'm not saying I don't know what it went into their thinking, so I'm not accusing this. But I'm not saying basketball got out of the way for baseball tonight. NFL never gets out of the way for anybody. They never play nicely with anybody. But it might have been a little bit of that, and then they got from now to June to build, and we got from now to June to talk about it, and it's going to be fun.
Yes, and we have a actually pretty massive slate tonight for some college football, and we got Thursday night football. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and get to a break, and we're going to make our picks for Thursday night football. The Broncos at the Browns, and also we have a Tulane at SMU game that we absolutely want to discuss.
We got a pretty busy night in college football. Last night just had the one game. We're going to start having that smattering of Tuesday, Wednesday games. And we're talking about the crowded sports scene. Thursday night used to be a college football night. It's not anymore. I mean, it is distinctly, uniquely NFL now. They took it over. And, Gabe, if we hadn't played college football last year, they would have taken over Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Hey, also tonight I just noticed this. FAU versus Charlotte. You want to see some new AAC teams?
Yeah, and I know Mike Oresco. There's some criticism of him today. Look, he had to move in his league's best interest. As you and I texted, Clemson and Ohio State's taking.
What was he going to do? I see a lot of people talking about it, especially from a Memphis point of view. I get it from a Memphis point of view. You want to be in the best conference possible, and you thought Big 12 was a possibility, and now you're in the I'm going to call it the USAAC, I guess, because it's basically the remnants of Conference USA. 12 of the 14, by the way, 12 of the 14 teams that are going to be in the new AAC are old Conference USA teams. So
yeah,
I can see where Memphis fans and media are getting a little out of sorts about this, but I still think that there is a possibility the Big 12 expands again.
And I think that's why the Mike Oresco and the AAC may be bringing more in. We'll visit with Jason Munns about that in about a little less than an hour, in about 50 minutes or so, about 5 o'clock when we visit with Jason Munns. But I did Birmingham radio today, and they're ecstatic over UAB back with the Tigers. Mm-hmm. And I agreed yesterday. I talked about FedEx Forum should be primary in a lot of these postseasons. I would bring in Birmingham as well for our postseason men's basketball, and I would look for Memphis and Birmingham to maybe get in a partnership as the permanent host of that championship game and not take that to campus. Bring it to Memphis and bring it to Birmingham.
And the big conversation around
treat
UAB
it like a bowl game.
Joining a conference that Memphis is in is the Battle of the Bones is back. And that's one thing, looking back at the history of Memphis football, Memphis basketball, I never got to experience it. Not once, Brett. So I want to open it up to the listeners here, 901-360-8255 on the text. What are your favorite memories? How much do you like that rivalry is being renewed?
I like it. I like the symmetry with that with those towns and that history and that trophy. Everybody playing for some trophy out there and excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
A very natural trophy for those two teams to play for.
I can say I have seen the trophy, and I've tried to pick up the trophy.
You pick it up?
Yes, not over my head. I mean, that's a lot to ask. I'll tell you that. It's a two-person job almost.
Did anybody use that in spring and in lifting? Was that part of the regimen?
No, they kept that
coach?
out. They kept that out. Although they might need to bring it in there. That thing
but
is
the respect
awkward,
both towns have for Gene Bartow, and now Andy Kennedy's got him a good team, and what Billy Clark has built in football. Neither were real up when we were playing a lot in those years. Now both are up in football, and I hate that we're going to miss visiting with Greg today, but Tigers had a little bit of some travel travails today. It's hard to get the charter to show up on time around the country for a lot of teams out there.
My final trip to UCF was for the championship game, but earlier that year we flew to Orlando, had to fly back because the game got canceled because of a hurricane. I don't know if you remember that.
Y'all rode down there and rode back.
Yep.
That's a long way to go, isn't it?
Brett didn't even get off the plane. Landed.
Oh, man.
We waited for 45 minutes sitting in a plane seat, turned right back around, came to Memphis.
How stiff was everybody?
Oh, gosh. I mean, I couldn't even move when I got off.
I guarantee
my knees didn't bend.
That's not good.
Carrying around that extra weight, too.
Yeah, you had to pack it on then.
Yeah. They said, get to 310. I said, what? Huh? Really? That's a lot.
I wish somebody would tell me
that's
to get to
a
310.
bunch. Well,
but 5'8", not a real good fit.
I think people
that would be morbidly obese, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be a little tough. I don't know if you'd be able to walk it that way.
And Gabe, I know we got a break. I'm sorry, but I do like near and far kind of health kicks that we're on, because of COVID. And I'm not going to tell anybody how to live their life, but man, if you're smoking today, throw them away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. We're going to go ahead and get to a break. We have Thursday night football and picks on the NFL game tonight, Broncos at Browns, and we'll also make a pick on the SMU Tulane game. Tulane visiting SMU. Tulane's a solid team, but they are 1-5 on the year. SMU, a ranked team, undefeated. Tanner Mordecai leading the nation in touchdown passes. We'll pick both those games and break them down when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Napa, we've teamed up with AAA to save you 20% online or in-store. That's why they call us the Savings Dream Team. Okay, we're the only ones calling us that, but it's true. Your AAA membership can save you 20% at Napa. So we're basically superheroes with the most specific power ever, saving you 20%. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. 20% off regular retail prices with valid AAA membership card. Offer good online at participating stores. Offer ends 10/31/21.
The deals keep getting stronger than ever at the Ram Power Days and Jeep Adventure Days at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Want a Cherokee Classic with a modern twist? Get it with 2021 Jeep Cherokee Latitude 4-wheel drive, $409 a month. How about 2021 Chrysler 300 Touring, $426 a month? Take on off-road trails, city streets, and everything in between in a 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee L Limited, $489 a month. And the workhorse 2021 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman, $497 a month. Plus top dollar for your trade at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best, or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Cherokee 300 Ram, all 75 months at 3.99 APR, 3,500 down. Cherokee MD 220971, MSRP 30,580. 300 MH 64614, MSRP 34,945. L M 114994, MSRP 50,320. 48 month lease. 1500 MS 578 8563, MSRP 40,030. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
There's a lot of things to like about October. The cooler weather, football, the start of basketball season, and of course the Memphis Zoo's Zootoberfest. Zootoberfest is now one of the best things to look forward to every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in October. Guests can purchase a commemorative stein to sip beer while they enjoy a fall afternoon at the Memphis Zoo. Just $12 while supplies last. Refills only $6. Must be 21 or older to purchase. It's Zootoberfest at the Memphis Zoo every Saturday and Sunday, 10 to 5 in October. There's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage way before they came aboard with us. They are your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. And get this, New Day will beat their major competitors' price, oftentimes by half. That's half the price. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day Overhead Doors.
I don't know about you, but as soon as I feel a hint of crisp, cool fall weather, I think of Sunrise on Jefferson. There's simply nothing other than the comfort food of Sunrise that makes you feel like autumn is really here. The signature square biscuits, the house-made gravy, the made-to-order fresh eggs and breakfast meats, or a lunchtime burger. They're all things to say relax, take it easy, you're in good hands. Swing by Sunrise for breakfast or lunch, and the rest of your day you'll feel warm, full, and happy. All because of fast, fresh food made with care.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Quick little rundown for the rest of the day. Here in this segment, we're going to give you our Thursday night football picks, Broncos at Browns, and we're also going to have to give you our SMU Tulane pick. They'll both be on our Friday football forecast tomorrow, so they will count toward our record. Here in this next segment, we're going to get to a little baseball, ALCS, NLCS action. 5 o'clock, Jason Munns from the CA joins us to talk Tigers and the AAC. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. 5:45, we'll wrap it up with Taco Bell Crunch Time. But tonight, solid slate. I have to say, in college football, we get to see Louisiana in action. They are not a top 25 team, but they have played really well, got a good win, and they handled – App State just beat Coastal Carolina. They handled App State on the road just a week ago. Tulane at SMU, FAU at Charlotte, two new AAC teams, and then San Jose State late night tonight against UNLV at 10 p.m. if you're up for that one.
You have to think Billy Napier will somehow get involved in the LSU talk, don't you?
Yeah, but why? What has taken so long with him? Why has he not gotten a job yet?
He is
right one hadn't opened up.
He has stiff-armed a lot of places. I mean, a few years ago, from best I can report, he sent the word to Ole Miss, to Arkansas, to Mississippi State, when they all three had that opening that same year, and even to Mizzou that same year. Don't call me and I'm not calling you. He wasn't interested in starting anywhere like that. Son of a coach, part of Nick Saban's staff, very, very well liked and highly regarded in his assistant coach tenure at a lot of different spots. He's won at Louisiana, but he doesn't want to leave there for just anywhere. Right. He's the kind of guy, Gabe, and I think the great ADs do this. They talk to the right agents, and the number one agent in this country for college football coaches is right here in Memphis. Yep. And Jimmy Sexton, and I think they set a list, kind of, home run, kind of a grand slam, but also have somebody sitting out there. We know this guy will say yes. So after you kind of go out there on that mission of you're not scared to be told no, and you get a couple of no's, doesn't it feel like Billy Napier is set up to be the guy that if they swing and miss on Jimbo, they swing and miss on Mel Tucker, they swing and miss on Lane Kiffin, Billy Napier will say yes.
Yeah, I would think he'd be that guy. And at this point, I mean, he's got a lot of sweat equity at Louisiana. I don't know why it's taken so long, though. He just seems like a guy who would be open to joining a lot of different Power 5 jobs, and it seems like he could do a good job. But the LSU job, I don't think they will get to him. I think somebody will take it ahead of him.
I think Scott Woodward
too good of a
to
job.
Land. He wants to land a lot bigger fish,
and he can. They can,
and he did in his women's basketball hire. He did in his baseball hire, and I think he wants he wants splashy. I mean, after Les Miles and Ed Orgeron, I think he wants marquee.
So this brings me back to what you said the other day about what you've heard from the inside from some LSU people and people around the SEC. Mel Tucker, is Mel Tucker that guy? Is that splashy?
I think it is, because the new president of LSU very much wants that, and it's a new, young, dynamic president of LSU. And look, he's got a school to run, he's got a person to run his athletics department. But if you're Scott Woodward, you have to listen to and acquiesce to your boss, because that is his boss, not just by formality. In reality, that he ranks ahead of the athletics director. But we also know how important football at LSU that it is.
Mel Tucker, I like what he's done this year, but his track record's not long enough. I know he's been there before as an assistant, and he's very familiar with it. But I would imagine when you're talking about fans, when you're talking about media, when you're talking about boosters, I would feel like a guy like Joe Brady would be the splash that would just set off.
That is splashy.
That would set off.
Joe Brady would be splashy at USC.
He would. I mean, and that's another good point. I still think that James Franklin is the guy that might end up in that USC coaching seat.
Well, he's proven in a tougher and boot leather job at Vanderbilt, and he's proven at a place.
He's been all over the country recruiting too.
He was just two removed from Joe Paterno. Only Bill O'Brien in between Joe Paterno and James Franklin at State College, PA. That's not easy. That long shadow, for good and for bad, still looms large over Penn State.
And if you're worried about USC, because that's the biggest thing they worry about is recruiting, and they keep the local talent in LA.
They're a tank of gas recruiting place too, like LSU.
It hasn't been the same though. Mario Cristobal has owned the West Coast. He has owned the West Coast, but I think James Franklin getting in that position. He's been in the SEC. He's recruited in the South. He's recruited in the North. He's recruited everywhere around the country. I think it would be easy for him on the West Coast.
This next statement probably would be better suited for 4:50 on a Monday for extreme college football overreaction. Mm-hmm. But it's not that time, and I only mean it as a comparison. I'm not saying it's the same. The last time LSU hired a coach from Michigan State,
yes,
they made some noise with it.
It went well.
Nicholas Lou Saban.
Hey, how'd that go over though with fan base and everything else?
It was stunning.
Not exciting.
It was stunning. Every name you can think of being lobbed around out there. Everybody just missed by 10 miles on it. And Sean Tuohy, on a show with Dave, said the next coach at LSU is going to be Nick Saban, and everybody going, I mean, they're hiring a guy from up there. What's he know about down here? He doesn't know. People saying that. Brett was saying that. I mean, how's he going to come down here and recruit? Who's he going to know in the Atlanta suburbs? I think it worked out pretty well for him.
Yeah, I think he's done well for himself since then, too.
It was the boldest hire. When I said Orgeron was the worst hire in the history of the SEC football when Ole Miss hired him, the most historic hire ever in the history of SEC football was LSU hiring Nick Saban.
Oh, it changed history. Completely changed history. Because then he succeeded there and then eventually made his way to Bama, and we know what has happened. Now,
Basketball worst hire ever I thought was Billy Gillespie at Kentucky. Best basketball hire by a current member of the SEC. They weren't in it then, but when Frank Broyles had the foresight and the thick skin to hire Nolan Richardson was landmark.
How good do you think that Eric Musselman hire is going to look in 10 years?
It's going to look great, and that was I think that was a case where Hunter Yurachek had somebody out there that I know is going to say yes after I swing and miss a little bit. After I swing and miss at Chris Beard, I swing and miss at Kelvin Sampson, I swing and miss. There was one more in there that was very coveted, and then he goes, okay, well, let's hire Eric Musselman. Worked great.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's go ahead. Stick with college right now. Let's pick this Tulane at SMU game. SMU has Tanner Mordecai. He leads the country with touchdown passes, not in touchdown
OU
yards.
transfer.
26 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
Well, you just drive by OU, you become a good quarterback, don't you?
I guess so. And Sonny Dykes does a good job with his quarterbacks too. I think we have to give him some credit, right? For Tanner Mordecai.
Do.
But
we sure do.
SMU 14.5-point favorites at home.
All right, go ahead, Gabe.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go against conventional wisdom I don't really care about here. Could be wrong. I'll take my chances, though. Tanner Mordecai will get his. I think he'll be solid. I don't know if I'm a big believer in that SMU defense, though. Tulane's playing for their season tonight. They are 1-5. I don't think they expected to be in this position coming into the year. They're also 1-5 against the spread. They could be dejected, but I'm just going to go against all of the things I just said, and I'm going to take Tulane plus 14.5 because I think that's a big number.
Gabe, you said it better than I could ever think about saying. That's exactly my breakdown on tonight. It just really no rhyme or reason, no good breakdown on it. Give me the greenies.
Just cause. And you got to see them play earlier this year.
I did on not their most flattering night either.
Brett, they have not, and I've been saying they have not played the same since that game.
They haven't.
Not played the same.
They haven't. The quarterback Pratt hadn't been the same, and Willie Fritz is a tough guy, and it's really kind of come undone for him. But they've had everything thrown at him. Bryant,
are we getting a group lock? No way.
Before I say this,
okay,
I just want to preference this by saying that we did say, I think it was Monday, that we're not going to do group locks anymore.
We didn't say that.
We said something like that. We said something like that. I don't want to do a group block.
Okay.
I just think SMU,
whatever you can sleep with,
throws the ball. They throw the ball around.
Yes.
And Tulane's defense, they allow about 40 points a game. I just think SMU is going to be too much at home. So give me SMU.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. SMU did struggle their last time out with Navy. We saw how but Navy's
31-24 game.
Isn't it? It's hard to base any other week of the season based on how someone played against Navy. You can't. You cannot take much from that game.
You
just
really
considering how Navy plays.
Toss that tape.
Yeah, and like
the only time you need to look at that is next year when you get ready for them.
Yeah, Tigers just beat them 35-17. Had a good defensive game plan, but I don't expect them to be.
But it's a one-shot deal
coming out
game
against
plan.
UCF. I don't expect them to hold UCF to a season low when they play them this weekend.
No.
Or we'll play them tomorrow.
My Browns are in trouble.
Yes, they are. Well, should I do all the injuries here? I mean, they're what?
No,
7, 8
because
deep?
we only have hour 19 left.
But, okay, their tackles. Jedrick Wills, Jack Conklin, both out. Kareem Hunt, their running back. Nick Chubb, running back, out. Baker Mayfield, out. Case Keenum's replacing him. He is very close with Kevin Stefanski, so that's something I will say. And their linebacker, Jeremiah, their second-round pick this year, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, will be out for this one. But they are still 2.5-point favorites.
How is that the case? I like Case Keenum. I think he can be good in that tough role he's going to be thrown in tonight. So give me my Browns. I'm going to stay with them.
I must say that's pretty ballsy tonight because that they are decimated. They have nobody right now that they expected to have offensively.
I like Stefanski. over the Denver coach.
Over
Vic Pagano.
Vic
Fangio. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Fangio. Vic, he's playing for his job though tonight. Right?
Must win.
I mean, I know how you feel about must wins, but seriously, they are struggling, and he's going to be on the hot seat if they start losing a bunch of games and spiral out of control. I'm going to take the Broncos plus the 2.5. I think they could win straight up. I'm not counting on it, but I'm going to take the Broncos plus 2.5. Bryant?
All right, Bryant, free and clear. You don't have to be encumbered by any of these bad old picks.
This was a tough game to pick. Teddy Bridgewater also, he's going to play, but kind of has a foot injury that he's playing through. So I think if he can kind of get through that and work through that, he puts the Broncos in a good opportunity. Like you said, Gabe, this is a must-win. So I'm going to go with the Broncos.
Broncos. You straight up win?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
The Browns, though, 3-3 at this point in the season. Everyone picked them to win the AFC North, not just compete in the AFC North, to win it. And injuries do a lot of things to a team. They hurt you, but this is not where they expected to be right now.
I know Joe Buck is really busy with baseball, and I was listening and watching to him last night, and I love him to death. So kind of a high hard one to you guys. Who's your favorite analyst alongside with him for all the sports that he does and does at such a high level? John Smoltz is up there. There's something to listen to.
He is. How do you like Troy Aikman? I'm a Troy Aikman guy. I think he's all right.
Really like?
He's solid.
I love Troy Aikman.
Yeah. I like Troy.
Of course you do. As a little guy, did you get the Troy Aikman uniform?
I did have a Troy Aikman jersey for Halloween one year.
Shoulder pads?
Yes.
The whole nine?
Yeah, the whole nine.
One of my nephews had a number 8 Troy. had a Steve McNair, too.
That's some good stuff. Real quick, also in the NFL, we have a couple of signings. I mentioned yesterday Riley Patterson was signed to the practice squad for the Patriots, obviously former Memphis kicker. Did you see what happened on Twitter between he and Julian Edelman? So he got assigned number 11.
I missed it.
Poor Julian Edelman.
Yeah, he got assigned number 11 for the Patriots on their practice squad, and Julian Edelman took to Twitter and said he was very disappointed. He had like the Stephen A.
I'm surprised
Stephen
they
A.
distributed
Smith
it in the equipment room. I am, Gabe. I am.
Do they have any?
But, Drew Bledsoe wore it for a long time, too, Julian.
What's their retired jersey situation?
A couple, some.
In New England.
I know they've had
He's
John
a Patriots
Hanna.
Ring of Honor Hall of Fame guy, no question. But we've talked about the regular Hall of Fame, Pro Football Hall of Fame.
I'm going to say the Patriots wouldn't be more than about 4 or 5 guys. A linebacker in the 70s, Steve Nelson, I think. Maybe way back.
There. He will be.
No, he will be. I mean, that's going to be a state holiday.
There's no question about it. But he went on and had a Stephen A. clip saying he was devastated that Riley got his number.
See, I think Stephen Gostkowski should have 32 retired at the University of Memphis, and I know Tom Bowen was going to do that before he left.
Mm-hmm. Was that it was Isaac Bruce. He got his – that was a jersey retirement, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was the whole thing.
Deserved.
Okay. Yep. Not even a question, no doubt in my mind. Also, Whitney Merciless, who has been with the Texans for years and years and years. He's an edge rusher, signs with the Packers. Played in only 13 games last year. Whitney Merciless, for all these years, Brett, has been a guy you hear about, but he's never all that good. He's never really been all that impressive with the Texans.
Been consistent.
Yeah, and it was the
long
other guy.
shadow of J.J. Watt, too.
Yeah, and Jadeveon Clowney. He was always the guy that was upstaged by them, but I remember always hearing his name. He's going to be a big contributor this year. Never really was, but he signs with the Packers because they need some help on their edge.
That potential guy can kill you, can't he?
Oh, gosh. That's what the NFL is. It's full of potential guys.
Mm-hmm.
Full of guys who were 5 stars in high school, who have the body to do it, who have the athleticism to do it. But
did that aggravate you when you see a guy that you just go, man, come on, man, blossom, do it?
Well, Brett, it's being the opposite of that is frustrating. You know,
you had the lunch pail from 8th grade on.
Yes, hard hat, lunch pail, first one in, last one to leave. No, but it's frustrating being on the other side of that because there are guys who are extremely talented who never reach it, and there are guys who work their butt off to get in that position and don't get the looks when it comes to the pro level. And you never know how it would have panned out. So
just need a shot.
Yes, just need a shot. And there's a lot of guys over the years who, if you just gave a shot, I am confident they would have been able to do something with it. Now, on the other side, we have some ALCS, NLCS baseball to break down. MLB playoffs continue to rage on. We have a chance tonight at a closeout game at 7:08. The Braves could close out the Dodgers. They were up 3-1 last year. Can they get it done this year? We'll be right back on Sports 56 98.5.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions. Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Of course, we have everything you need for that big brake job. Right now, you can save 15% when you buy any Duralast brake pads and any 2 Duralast rotors. It's a great way to save while you take on the full job. Oh, and here's a tip for you. Go for a nice, easy drive after you finish the job. It'll help you break in your new brakes. For more tips, visit AutoZone.com/DIY. Restrictions apply.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Hey, 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 Mid-South! It's time to get your Mitsu on at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike. Want great mileage at a great price? How about 43 MPG in your new 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, $179 per month. Get more standard equipment than Ford Escape or Mazda CX-5 in your 2022 Eclipse Cross, $279 per month. Need My Pilot Assist? We Gossett in new 2022 Outlander at $319 a month. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Mirage Eclipse, 84 months at 3.9% APR. Mirage MH010713, MSRP 17055, 3100 down. Eclipse NZ09209, MSRP 26470, 5150 down. Outlander NZ023516, MSRP 29445, 84 months at 4.9, 4500 down. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Have a text on the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. Brett, in reference to our talk about Saban and his time at LSU. LSU fan says we should have gave Saban a blank check back then and kept him from going to Miami.
Yeah, and if they had everything he's won at Alabama, he would have won there, and they'd be the Roman Empire. They would be something that we just couldn't have ever imagined. Same thing could have been said if Rick Pitino hadn't have taken that NBA swing at the Celtics. If he had stayed at Kentucky basketball, he'd have been bigger than Rupp. Saban would have been bigger than Bryant at LSU.
Pitino, it could have ended. It probably would have ended
Usually does end badly for Rick Pitino. He finds trouble, doesn't he? But he can flat coach.
One big bad ending,
one we know about.
Yeah.
Never forget the whole Karen Cypher stuff at Louisville too.
You sort of wonder if he did stay around, if that would have been the same case. But
LSU fans right now, the whole time Nick Saban was going to try that NFL thing, and where a lot of people missed on it, they kept wanting to associate him with more northern type jobs, the Lions or the Browns or the Giants even. No, he was going to stay in the South, Atlanta, Miami, something like that.
He's made a home of it. He's made a home of the South.
Oh, he likes Christmas Eve and warm weather.
Now you can't imagine him anywhere else, to be completely honest.
And now Gabe, that's when you're really wealthy. When you're really wealthy, when it's hot, you can be cool, and when it's cold, you can be warm.
Yeah. Now in the MLB,
just call the plane.
Yep. In the MLB ALCS, 9-1 Astros yesterday. Wasn't even close. Framber Valdez.
We should have had a broom out. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they didn't sweep.
What are you talking about? The Astros?
I'm sorry, the Braves.
No,
I'm sorry.
9-1 Astros. I'm going to start with the ALCS here. Framber Valdez, 8 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, only 93 pitches last night. I mean, if you get an outing like that in the CS, you're probably going to go win the game. Yordan Alvarez, 3 for 5, 1 home run, 3 RBI, and that's all they
just shy of a cycle. But I don't think with his knees there's anywhere he could place the ball at Fenway and make it to third.
No, there's not a chance. Now, in the NLCS, because tonight we do have Game 5. It'll be Fried versus Corey Knebel at 7:08.
Closeout time.
Closeout time for the Braves. And they've been here before, and it didn't end well.
They were here last year, and I think they learned from it in last year's shorter sprint. And Gabe, once upon a time in this area, it was Cardinals all the way down to the Georgia line. It's not the case anymore. You get to about Tupelo now, and
bunch of Braves fans.
You're into heart and soul Brave country, and you get to about Oxford South. Used to Cardinal country would go to about the Louisiana line. Not anymore. Mm-hmm. Braves have their
We've
very
had
loyal
the conversation
fans.
about the breakup of fandom as far as the MLB goes here in Memphis, right? And we're over 50%.
I think
Easily.
it's around 65 or
70.
Cardinals, and then Braves next, and then a distant third, but representative and great fans, Cub fans.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always Yankees fans sprinkled in there. But
I like finding that knockaway Mariner fan, and you can find a fan of someone.
Does this feel like the year the Braves finally break through? I mean, they're up 3-1. I understand that they win 9-2, but Justin Turner. And that's sort of the heart and soul of that Dodgers team, and he's been there for a while.
He came up gimpy.
Hamstring injury in the 7th, and when he grounded into a double play, he's out for the season. I mean, from what I heard, Dave Roberts said he's done.
And the way he was moving around, you could tell it popped.
Yes, and the Dodgers, if they want to come back in this series, they have to find an answer for Rosario, Duvall, and Jock Peterson, the 3 guys that the Braves got at the trade deadline.
Yeah, I saw Rosario in June with Cleveland.
They're combining right now in this series, Brett, 404, 14 RBIs, 4 home runs.
Cleveland started 2 Rosarios and 2 Ramirez out of 9 players against St.
Rosario
Louis.
last night was fantastic, 4 for 5, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs. But tonight, Game 5, I know Braves fans want to see the closeout. But I know that they've also been trained to believe differently when it comes to the Dodgers and being up 3-1. But on the other side, we're going to switch gears. We're going to get to the AAC. They have 6 new additions to the conference. We'll also talk some Tiger basketball with our friend from the CA, Jason Muntz. We'll do that when we come back on Sports 56 98.5.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the Callaway Apex Trade-In event running now through October 31st. Bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 50% trade-in bonus towards new Apex 21 irons. The Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. School's back in. Are the kids going to be running out of hot water every morning? Or worse, are you going to be out of hot water by the time they leave? It may be time for a tankless water heater from Conway Services that never runs out of hot water. And since it only heats the water you use, you'll be saving money on your gas bill every month. At Conway Services, we're making now the perfect time to replace that old energy-guzzling tanked water heater with 12 months to pay, interest-free. Or I'll give you $250 for that old tanked water heater. See why I say now's the perfect time? And no more worrying about that tank bursting in your attic either. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier tankless water heater professionals at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old water heater will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of Happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, ME 409,215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Sold, N 7808,276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview. An AFC matchup coming up from Cleveland when the Browns face the Denver Broncos. The Browns will be shorthanded due to several injuries in last week's loss to the Cardinals, which has them at 3-3 on the season. The Broncos are now also 3-3. Disappointing for a team that started the year 3-0. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater says the team is happy to have a short week after their loss to the Raiders.
I always tell the guys, man, when you win, you point the finger at your teammates, and when you lose, you point the thumb at yourself. And today was one of those days where I would definitely point the thumb at myself, man, take accountability, responsibility for just a lot of the things that went wrong. But we get to put this game behind us, move forward, focus on Cleveland.
Tom McCarthy and Mike Golick will call all the action of the Broncos at the Browns on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your headlights are getting dim? With the seasons changing, now's a great time to change them. Upgrading your headlights can ensure you'll be safe and ready to handle darkness and fog. Oh, and we recommend replacing in pairs. That way you won't have uneven lighting over time. You can get all of your lighting needs fast with our next day delivery and free same-day store pickup. Getting the job done just got easier.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Jason Munns from the Commercial Appeal with us on a lot of subjects. Of course, Tiger basketball, the name change officially for the stadium, now Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. We'll also talk with Jason Munns about this conference realignment. I want to tell you about FanDuel, though. Love telling you about FanDuel. In Week 7, it's right here just in a few hours, and FanDuel Sportsbook, they want you to get the most out of every play every single night and every single weekend. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. Thursday night, tonight, great opportunity to give it a try. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more. If your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. Building at 3-gamer tonight, a little more difficult with the injuries for Cleveland. So go with the backup quarterback and over the yardage there for Cleveland. Go with the backup running back. I still think Cleveland's at its best when they're running the football, and also over the total points in the fourth quarter. Fast payouts, easy to use, safe and secure. That's why America's #1 sports book, it's FanDuel. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet. So lock in that bet today on FanDuel and get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. If you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, sign up today with promo code CASH to also receive 30-1 enhanced odds on the Sunday afternoon matchup between Houston and Arizona. Win $150 on a $5 bet. That's promo code CASH so they know I sent you. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund, $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states. On mobile and on the web, gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the title sponsor of this hour, and that's our friends at DeSoto Auto Sales down in DeSoto County. So proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area at 5704 Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto Auto Sales where all the cars are test driven, checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, but they guarantee this, the ultimate car experience. You walk in within 45 minutes, test drive a car or cars, credit approved, paperwork completed, and you're out of there in short order. It's that simple. They know we live in a world today that time matters, and that's why they keep it simple for you at DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
We bring in our friend Jason Munns from the CA to talk Tiger basketball and some AAC realignment. He is at Munsley on Twitter. Jason, how are you, man?
What's up, Gabe? How are you?
I'm doing well.
Hey
Can't
there, Jason.
complain. Can't complain. Grizzlies last night, that was a fun one. That was absolutely fun.
Fun times, isn't it?
It is. Brett, it's good to hear your voice. Yeah, it's things are happening.
Yes.
Things are happening. Good thing.
Gabe, I don't mind it. Yeah, I'm a homer. I want everything around here to do well. It's a heck of a lot more fun to do this every day for 3 hours with this kind of vibe. And we got a vibe, and I think it will continue with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm. I think it will. But the AAC realignment is the news of the day. FAU, Charlotte, North Texas, UTSA, Rice, and UAB. I've heard a lot of things around the city. You look at social media. I know I probably shouldn't be looking at it for good responses, for fun responses, for responses that make a whole lot of sense. But what's your feel around these 6 schools being added to the AAC?
I think, the ones that are being vocal have a point. Is my take. It's just not a. It's just. I don't know exactly how to put it. It's just not. It doesn't move the needle. What they've done, what the American Conference has done to account for the losses of Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF. Mike Oresco can say all he wants to that, they've added the Charlotte market and they've stayed in the Houston market and now they're in the San Antonio market and another spot in the Dallas Fort Worth
small
Metroplex.
Spot. I'll say that.
What's that?
Very small spot in that Dallas market for North Texas.
Yeah, he can say, so he can talk about that all he wants to. They're in Birmingham now with UAB down in South Florida. It's all great, but it's not going to move the needle. It may. He said this a few times earlier today on the press conference. He said, people thought we were crazy 9 years ago when we were starting this league. People didn't think it would work then, and look where we are now. Mm-hmm. He's got a point. He does have a point. There's nothing saying that UTSA can't ride the momentum that they've got going right now and become the next UCF type of program here in a few years. But as we sit here today, it just doesn't really do much. And I understand the sentiment around the city of people who are kind of like crossing their fingers and toes and their arms and everything and saying, please let the Big 12. Let the reports of the Big 12 expanding further be true.
Yeah, there's no question that's the sentiment. That should be the sentiment. That's what has been the overwhelming sentiment for a while now from this fan base. But just playing devil's advocate with these 6 schools, what you talking about moving the needle? What would have moved the needle in your opinion?
Getting Boise State, getting San Diego State, getting Colorado State, you know what I mean? Like Plan A.
Right. But they obviously said no.
Yeah, exactly. But that would have been it. I did not think that there was, really any other option out there that was super attractive. Yes. So from that standpoint, they did the best they could. The Mountain West teams weren't interested in shaking things up, and they had to sort of change course a little bit and go with what they went with. Now, I don't know. It feels like it's a lot of quantity here. There's 6 teams. They're going up to 14, and that kind of feels like that kind of takes away from it as well. It did seem to happen very, very quickly. Did they need to? Could they have waited after they got rebuffed by those other schools to survey the landscape a little bit more, maybe do a little bit more research, things like that? Probably. But who knows? Maybe they felt like they needed to jump on this before it got, out of hand or whatever. But, we're talking a lot about football because that's what conference realignment is really all about. But, and in some sense, again, UTSA doesn't hurt a ton. That's a program with potential. UAB is a program that has some potential as well. FAU, they had Lane Kiffin down there, and they were rolling. They had that bunch ranked a couple of years ago. So there is potential in these programs on the football side, but boy, basketball, it is
going to be some lonely Tuesday night road trips, Jason. Jason, have you had any availability with Mike Oresco? And if you ask him this question: are these contracts that they're bound to, like to Dickies Arena for men's basketball postseason, are they still bound?
We did. I was on the Zoom call with, it felt like everybody else in the country, and so I did not. He was on
it
for
makes
an
it
hour,
hard, doesn't it?
Yeah, he was on for an hour, and he talked for himself. He opened for like 10 minutes, and then he gave.
You might breathe through his ears.
Yeah, and then there were 6. The new schools. Their 6 athletic directors were on, and they gave opening statements, and they took, the Ralph Russos, the Dennis Dodds, the Chris Vaninis. Those guys got their questions in. I didn't get a chance to, in the allotted time to ask him anything, but he did mention the Dickies Arena deal, the basketball tournament deal, and
he's proud
as far
of it.
as far as I know, I mean, he didn't. It didn't sound like there would be any changes anytime soon to that. Now, I think the deal is only for this year and next, or maybe only this year. I will have to look into that, but and then of course, these new 6 schools aren't coming in more than likely until 2023. So I would have to bet that any decision as far as the future site of the AAC basketball tournament will be a little bit further down the line.
Does the addition of 6 teams, is that in an effort to possibly avoid future expansion, or is that still open?
That was asked. That was a question that was asked. I was glad somebody asked it, because I would have if they'd called on me. It was the way it was phrased was like, there have been reports that maybe the Big 12 isn't done expanding, and maybe the Big 12 has its eye on a couple of teams potentially from the American. Was the choice to go with 6 teams over 2 or 4 a preemptive, deal, thinking that eventually they'd be down, that it would be down to 12 or however many after future expansion. And he said, I'm not going to get into what other hypotheticals are out there or reports or whatever. He said that it would not surprise him. He said nothing surprises him anymore. And, he's like, you can't take it personally. Anything can happen. The way he phrased it, though, was that by going after 6 as opposed to 4 or 2 was something that what played into that decision was trying to get it all done in one swoop, as opposed to, like he was like, we identified a couple of these programs that we felt like we might want to pursue in the future. Why not do it now?
Right.
Yeah, Jason, look, now I'm speaking here purely as if I were in control at the University of Memphis, whether it's Laird or Dr. Rudd, whomever's making decisions. If we get a chance to go to the Big 12, we're not even giving y'all the 2-week notice. See you when we see you. We're out of here. With that in mind, do you think there's any consternation, payback as you know what, by Oresco toward like a Memphis, and would that preclude Memphis from maybe being involved in hosting men's basketball tournament? And I even suggested earlier, Memphis and Birmingham should work together on basketball and permanent site for football championship game at the new place in Memphis or at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium.
No, I don't think so. I didn't get that sense. I mean, I've heard him say this. I've heard Mike say this on a couple of occasions, that you cannot. That he's been in this game long enough to know that whatever happens, you can't take it personally. And I tend to believe him on that. I think he's being genuine there. That he has learned. This is far from his first rodeo, and no, I didn't get the sense that he.
Well, good.
I didn't get the sense that he
Hold
was.
Still wouldn't want that.
I would still give him about a 30-minute notice if we just left for the Big 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, in reality, I think he's already on notice, but we'll see.
Yeah, what's your feel on that? What's your feel on Big 12 possibilities down the road?
Well, I mean, people like Dennis Dodd and Brett McMurphy and those guys who are sort of floating this out there. I mean, they're fantastic reporters with great sources, and I trust them. I mean, obviously things could change, but they've been sort of reporting that Memphis is among the most attractive candidates should the Big 12 decide to, once Texas and Oklahoma physically pack their bags and leave, that Memphis is going to be one of the prime candidates for the Big 12 to expand again. Like I said, things can change, but those guys have really good sources and are great at what they do. And I would say I take them for their word, and until they backtrack or have to report something different, I would go with that.
Right. Jason, Tiger basketball question, and it's always, I always preface this: it's easy to spend somebody else's money. It's easy to get a yes past the editor that may not be a yes, and we know the difficult times for everybody in the media world on access and traveling now. But if you could, would you like to have? I know the answer is yes, but if you could have unfettered, 100% access for around Tiger basketball to everything, no closed doors at all, for you to do that big definitive coffee table national championship book, if you could do that, what would be the first thing you would center on?
Boy, gosh, that is a tough one.
And those commemorative books will pour out if the Tigers have that championship and that parade and that trophy.
Yeah, you're right about that. I would say Penny Hardaway.
Yeah,
that's like
the
the
constant.
easy. That's the easy, obvious answer. But that's like
he's the smoke.
Yeah, that's been the thing.
There's your title too.
This has sort of been the thing we've all been waiting for, right? Is for him to come home and restore order, so to speak, get him back to the promised land, and if that were to come to pass, then it would be a large portion.
You accept that assignment, don't you?
I think we got co-authors, Brett. You might have to have a part in this one too.
No. Brother Mullins knows to do it much better. I just tag along as the idea guy.
Well, it's a
you
great
have the title and everything.
Yeah, no, that's one thing about Brett. He's
idea
quick
guy.
on his feet.
And spending other people's money. Yeah, I'm good at that.
But the one thing that's just, if Memphis Madness is any indication, the basketball team is going to absolutely own the scene in Memphis as far as sports go during the season.
Oh yeah, no, it's the excitement is high and rightfully so. A ton of hype, and I've been here now for a little over 3 years, and from the beginning. I'm talking about the interview process from square one. All I've heard is that when things are rolling with that Memphis basketball program, this city becomes electric.
Right.
And I shudder to think exactly to what level it can get with with a number of factors. Penny Hardaway at the helm, the number one recruiting class, the fact that they have not been to the NCAA tournament in 7 years. It'll be 8 years if they get there in 2022. So I can't even begin to fathom exactly how hot this city will get if things go the direction.
It's percolating pretty hot right now. It's 0-0.
Yeah. No, it is. It is.
It's going to be Fahrenheit, whatever, 451 at some point, isn't it?
Oh, it's. Look no further than the Sports Illustrated spread. That
I think I may have messed my math up on the Fahrenheit.
Right. Well,
I was going to let it pass.
Okay.
I was going to let you have it, regardless.
Yeah.
Well, Michael Moore did a great documentary, Fahrenheit 9/11.
Yeah,
he did. That was a good one.
That was a great documentary, and boy, that text line. I'm just talking about as a consumer. I'm not talking. I agreed with everything.
Jason, something that I've been sort of curious to see as far as the storyline goes early in the season. You have you have two new pieces as far as the coaching staff goes. What are the roles of Rasheed Wallace and Larry Brown early in their sort of tenure?
Well, I don't want to give too much away because I'm kind of working on this, but
okay.
But Rasheed Wallace, I mean, like I'll give you the Cliff's Notes version. Okay. Rasheed Wallace is the energy guy. He is the guy who is making sure that there's no letdown, there's no drop off at any point in intensity. I mean, and that's like no secret. That's who he is.
Yep.
That's who he is. But he's coaching the big men, and we'll see how much. We'll have to wait and see exactly how much of an impact he's had from that standpoint. But I can say I was there for Pro Day. I was there for the Rebounders Club open practice, and he is taking his job as chief intensity director very, very seriously, and it's working. I mean, it really is working. There's not going to be, he's going to make sure that guys are constantly moving, constantly working. There aren't going to be any shoulder shrugs. There's not going to be hands on hips. It's always going to be a constant.
It's time.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that he said, I'm not here to baby anybody.
Yeah, and for Larry on as far as Larry goes, he's the guru. I mean, he's I think his attention is being paid mostly to the offensive side, the offensive end, but he's also given his 2 cents on defense as well. But I'm not going to say he's going to be drawing up plays, but he is, he's come in and he said, here's what I know, and there's a lot of it, but here's what I know. You guys decide what you want to use, how you want to incorporate it, and I'll be here to be a sounding board and somebody. If you want my input, come to me and I'll give it to you. But I firmly believe that he's not, he's not going to be. A lot of people have been saying, is Larry Brown going to be able to avoid the spotlight, or not want to get into the spotlight once the season starts? I do not get that impression. I think he's genuinely going to be just someone there to support Penny Hardaway.
Do they have a
Jason? I got my Fahrenheit right. I said 451. That was the Ralph Bradbury book. I hit the Google machine. I read it in 10th grade. I knew I got it right.
That's like an
Do you recommend it?
That's like an answer once a month on Jeopardy, and so I'm very familiar with it from that.
Good deal.
Do they have a real do they have a chief podcasting officer? I feel like they all almost have their podcast now. At least 2 of the 4 I know for sure. Penny and Rasheed.
Like, doesn't it? Yeah, they might as well. If they don't, Brett's no longer the idea man. Your co-idea man.
You know what? I might have to apply for that job if it's over there. But Jason, we appreciate you. He's from the Commercial Appeal. Covers Tigers.
All right, thanks, guys.
Love it, man.
Appreciate it, Jason. No, but I haven't got to catch any of the episodes of the podcast so far. Have you seen I've seen clips, bits and pieces.
I've seen a lot of run for it, but I'm not a big podcast listener.
We have our podcast. You can find it at sports56whq.com.
I listen to ours,
Well, you're a podcast guy. You have your own.
Yeah, I listen to ours, of course.
No, I hear it.
What is your go-to podcast? What would you recommend to me to listen to? A college football pod.
Oh, college football pod.
I'm close to listening to Matt Berry and Kirk Herbstreit.
College football pod. I don't really have a college football pod that I go to. Brian, do you have any?
Hold up.
College, honestly.
CBS Sports does a good one. The Cover 3 podcast. I enjoy that one.
Solid. And then they have the regionalized ones. I know that the CA has their own podcast and everything else.
I like a lot of the athletics podcasts. They do a good job.
Gabe, you know what our college football podcast would be?
What?
Low Man Wins.
I love it.
That's a good name.
I love that. We could get this started. What do you think?
Let's get it going.
What do we talk about? We can talk about fullbacks and O-linemen.
That's what I need is more work.
I hear you. But that was Jason Munz talking AAC and the Tigers. When we come back, we'll get to what's trending before 5:45 when we get to Taco Bell Crunch Time. We'll come back right here on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
Hi, everybody. This is Dave Woloshin, and I've moved now. You can catch me with all my friends from 10 to 11. We'll go all over the country to bring you whatever is happening that day. Wallow and Friends from 10 to 11 on Sports 56 and 98.5.
You say you want to come to Southland, but you don't have a ride? What? Well, you got one last chance to win a ride in the Southland Casino Racing Free and Easy Car Giveaway. You say you don't need a car? What? Take the cash value. We don't care. Just get to Southland and earn those entries in the Free and Easy Car Giveaway. It's still the quickest drive, and a new car makes it quicker. Next drawing, Sunday, October 31st. Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
The bridge is open. Now it's really easy to take the 15-minute drive to Cypress View Golf and Recreation and enjoy the spectacular upgrades made to the clubhouse and golf course. The fairways are looking great and the greens are better than ever. No traffic, no excuses. If you're tired of paying greens and cart fees, Cypress View has a membership that includes unlimited golf, cart, range balls, and more. A family membership is just $199 per month plus tax. Members also have access to the Olympic-sized pool, fitness center, and tennis courts. The golf shop is stocked with FootJoy apparel, Titleist bags, and equipment. A huge selection of Puka headwear and more. Cypress View Grill has a wide selection of choices from burgers to brats, Phillies to quesadillas, flatbreads to oven-fired pizzas. You're covered from golf to goods to grub. And now Cypress View has a beer license, so grab a cold one in the grill. See why Cypress View Golf and Recreation is one of the fastest growing clubs in the Mid-South. Call 870-739-6305 or visit online cypressviewgolf.com.
Hi, folks. I keep hearing about a shortage of good vehicles to purchase these days. Well, I can fix that. Just follow me to Auto Universe Germantown. I was blown away by the amount of high-quality vehicles they have. Something they call affordable luxury, and I would agree. And talk about variety. How about Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep, not to mention, but I will anyway, Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, and Toyota. Tremendous pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, and they're always adding more. Hey, I know this family. They have everything we want under one roof. No haggle affordable pricing, simplified financing, top service technicians, even collision repair. Remember the old Mazda location in Germantown? That's where they're located, 7300 Winchester, and online at eautouniverse.com. So take it from me, if you want to avoid the new car price but still want a luxury, slightly loved vehicle, head on over to Auto Universe Germantown. Would I steer you wrong? Get it? At Auto Universe Germantown, only the best make it here.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
So obviously the NBA season has started and the Ben Simmons suspension is actually over, but it looks like he will not play tomorrow versus the Nets after leaving the 76ers facility without doing a scheduled workout. Now, there's a lot of things that have been said from Joel Embiid, from Doc Rivers, but it was actually interesting. This is a clip I'm about to play from Jason Kelce, who's actually the center of the Eagles, and he's talking about the Philadelphia fan base and how it works, how you endear yourself to that fan base. Here's Jason Kelce.
There's a lot of people that say it's a hard place to play. I think it's pretty easy, to be honest with you. You just go out there, play hard. You want to be loved in the city as a baseball player, run to first base. They're going to love you. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, if you go up here and make a bunch of excuses, you come up here and try and lie to them and act like they don't know what they're talking about, which sometimes they don't, but that's when you really when you act that way, or when you aren't accountable if you're making mistakes or you're not getting better or anything like that, they're gonna crush you.
And Brett, I don't like.
What a great answer.
I'll say this: I don't like that he was asked this question. I don't think anybody.
I don't think it's germane.
I don't think it's fair for him to have to answer for Ben Simmons, another person in Philadelphia.
Right.
But this is Philadelphia media we're talking about.
But he answered.
But
he
that
was asked.
I thought it was a very fair answer. I thought it was 100% what I would say given that situation.
And he was kind of the face of the celebration after they
right.
won the Super Bowl in Minneapolis over Tom Brady and the Patriots. And, I think he ran a median blood alcohol level of something in the twos for
and he had the little jester
weeks
suit
after
on.
That. He did. And their
big jester suit, I should say. He's a big guy.
And their fans celebrated by, eating the stuff in the street.
Now, hey, look, Philadelphia.
And it was tough.
Philadelphia is a really tough city to play in. It is. If you're an athlete, they'll get on you quickly. And
Did you see how emotional Zach Ertz was about leaving? He said he'll always be home to him.
Yeah, winning a Super Bowl there has to be. I
Yeah.
mean, that's huge. And they embrace you just as quick as they'll push you away. If you win a championship there, you are a legend.
Doug Peterson may weigh in differently than that, but
yeah, well, that is a good point. But I'm talking about as far as players go.
Sure.
Because that's what we're talking about with Ben Simmons. But
I mean, look how loved Dr. J and Moses Malone and Mo Cheeks and Lionel Hollins still are from their championship team.
But I think what he said sort of rings true in any fan base. Am I right? If you show that you're willing to put in the work to any fan base, they'll embrace you. Now, there are times when guys get overdrafted, guys get put in the spotlight that aren't very good. But I think with Ben Simmons in his situation, he's shown an unwillingness to really work on certain things. He has never grown a jump shot, ever. And he hasn't really tried in the offseason to do it. And what he's doing right now, he's alienating himself even more from his team and the fan base in Philly. And he is losing the narrative worse than I've seen anybody lose the narrative.
He's lost it. That town loved Allen Iverson. He didn't win him a championship, but he played his guts out. He got a 1-0 lead for him in the NBA Finals. That was almost worth getting a ring over, getting that one from the Lakers that year, and he almost willed it himself. But he's right. Run out first, play hard, play the right way. We know the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Fans know the right way. Fans are really smart. Fans are really smart here. Most fans are. They know. They know sizzle and they know steak.
They do. And I thought Jason Kelce put it very well. It's hard to play in Philly, and Ben Simmons. It's very clear that he's not cut out to do it. I mean, that's as easy as I can say it. He is not cut out to deal with the media and the fans in that city.
Plenty of sizzle at the commissary. No steak, but plenty of great Memphis barbecue at either commissary. The new Collierville commissary at Houston, Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. Memphis-style barbecue. It screams Memphis because it's the slow way. That's how they cook it at the commissary. It's so good, and they have it all. Start that feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, the nachos that were invented at the commissary in the early 80s, going on 40 years now. A lot of people like to take credit for it. We know where it started. It started at the commissary in Germantown. Smoked chicken wings, fantastic. If you're craving an easier way to order, start your order at commissarybbq.com or text commissary to 33733. 2 M's, 2 S's in commissary. Text commissary to 33733. Save room for dessert. The best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere. The banana pudding, it's really, really delicious. The salads are good. The Brunswick stew, it's Brunswick stew time. And don't forget the party pack, 6-pack, 8-pack, 12-pack, and it's that time of year. Start getting on the list for the holiday bird. The first holiday that comes in November, you'll want it, and I guarantee you'll want it for the second, the big December holidays. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com. sportstime.com in Collierville and Germantown. Great party areas. Get outside tonight and watch all that sports, basketball, football, baseball, hockey, all of it on TV, on the patio at the new commissary at Houston Levy and Poplar, and the original in Germantown. So good. Walker Taylor's done it the right way, and we appreciate him so much.
So Huggy Bear, Bob Huggins, had one of the worst takes in recorded history, I think, yesterday. He
can weigh in with bad takes.
He was asked by a reporter about the tournament, the NCAA tournament, and how it's formed over the years in college basketball, if it's healthy or not.
Don't tell me he wanted to go to less teams.
He says major conferences should split and form their own tournament. He went on to say the presidents and athletic directors have all the juice. Why wouldn't they do it? Why wouldn't they? And then the other people, they can have their own tournament. And he went on to say, we have no power because we don't generate the same kind of TV income that football does, but we don't try to.
Oh, Bob. I
mean,
seen that.
right?
That's just a dreadful string of words he put together.
Fair assessment. One of the
other
worst,
people?
He
went other people?
But one of the worst takes in recorded history, right? That's fair to say.
No doubt about it. Maybe the leader in the clubhouse for the worst take of 21, and I was cringing when you started, and it was cringe-worthy all the way through it. And he can go off on that. But Bobby Knight a few years ago advocated going back to 32. I mean, that's almost where Bob Huggins went. Bob Huggins is.
And what in this? What do you consider is Big East? Is that a power conference?
Yes.
Do we consider that a power conference? I mean, but then Gonzaga,
Villanova, 3-time national champion.
Yeah, but point being is where do we draw the line? Gonzaga
That's right.
Gets left out.
And who draws the line?
Memphis,
who gets the marker out?
Memphis left out.
Yeah,
Houston left out.
I think the basketball tournament works. Has the basketball tournament not been working and somebody didn't tell me?
It's unbelievable. But I guess I can get behind the point, Brett, that they generate all their money on the tournament and they don't really try to do other things during the regular season. I think they do all the crossover, the ACC versus Big Ten, and they try to do the tournaments and everything. But
I think November is a more fun month for me, just my own taste in college basketball, than February is. Because the grind of some of those conference games, especially when you're playing that second one, or you're seeing that team that second time, you got a great book on them. Here comes that 49-48 game.
But
I mean, give me Maui, give me those tournaments, give me Virgin Islands, give me, they don't have the Great Alaskan Shootout anymore, but give me those early season matchups over February and some of those grind fests.
I can give the point though out that yes, they do rely solely, as far as from an income standpoint, on the NCAA tournament. I understand that. But I don't know exactly what you would do differently, and I am certain that this is not the answer. I am certain.
I'm certain of that.
That keeping the little guys out, and not even all little guys.
I'm certain your certitude's correct.
Yeah, not even all little guys. I mean, Gonzaga would be out. Memphis, Houston.
Now, once upon a time when Bob Huggins was making
all
his
those
chops
teams
at Akron, he didn't think that.
Oh, no way.
I guarantee you when he was almost pulled an upset in 80. Who'd he almost beat in 86 or 87 or so when he was at Akron? He wasn't thinking that then.
Well, you know what they say when you're in silk sheets. You think a little differently when you're sleeping in silk sheets, right?
Now, why did y'all question me on Fahrenheit 451?
I didn't question you. I said, do you recommend the book?
I read it so long ago. It was a little bit like 1984. It was so out there for its time. It was a hard read for me. And again, I'm not much on fiction, and I'm not much on as you get into the sci-fi aspect of it.
Forgive me for not knowing what exactly. I mean, is it a dystopia type book? Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Bonfire of the Vanities repackaged.
Okay, understood. So no recommend. You read it in high school, you said?
I think we read it in 10th or 11th grade, yeah.
Well.
Made to.
Yeah. Any books you recommend? I know Bryant's a big
fan. Man, I could give you a full list off the air of books I recommend.
But I won't.
You have it written down. What are you in your journal.
I want real stuff. I want things that really happen. It was like one of my nephews was all over me to go see the movie Lincoln. Mm-hmm. And I said, I know the Lincoln story. I don't need to go see the movie. And first of all, I sadly know the ending of it.
And Brett, I'm going to bring this up. Have you talked to Lane Kiffin lately about this faking injuries?
I have not weighed in with him about it, nor am I.
Okay. Well, I think he has basically the same take as you, because he talked about it today. Obviously, there was about 18 stoppages in the Tennessee Ole Miss game. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
A lot of stoppages. Some real, some not so real. He said you're not going to stop it until you say a guy has to stay out for so many plays. Like anything, there has to be a penalty for it. Really, if you want to change it, let the conference review it, look at the film, and when they deem it to be an obvious faking of an injury, then there's a penalty, a fine, and I promise you it would never happen anywhere.
They're going to push the edge until they're
I'll say this,
to.
the fine won't do anything, in my opinion. I don't know if a fine does much.
Yeah, because
these days, especially in the SEC,
rolling in money, and you've got to penalize during the game or the next week with playing time. Gabe, you know what players respond to. It's playing time.
Yes, I'll say your point and Lane's point on keeping a player out for a certain period of time. Mm-hmm. Well taken. That's how you do it. But to say that you leave it up to refs to maybe deem if it's a fake or not fake injury.
That's not on the refs.
That wouldn't be okay. There's no way that you can make that distinction live.
We've already made the toughest task in sport, and that's the officiating of it, the refereeing of it, the umpiring of it. We've made it close to impossible with all the replays, everything subject to replay, and how great the TVs are. I mean, you can zoom in, 1090 high def and.
In an NFL game, you see how many different replay angles they have? And heck, in an SEC game, they have about 10 different angles nowadays.
You can never convince me an official leaves the house openly thinking, I'm going to get somebody tonight. I'm going to do so-and-so in. Never. You can never convince. Do they make mistakes? Yes, because they're human beings.
Mm-hmm. But
and sometimes bad mistakes.
Which side you fall? Where do you fall on the side of replay or no replay at this point?
Well, I'm almost Bob Huggins, Flat Earth Society. I want to go back to nothing. That's not happening. I want to go back to we just play, and if it's a mistake, Gabe,
there are obvious mistakes that I think have been helped by replay though that have been made. And
we're St. Louis Cardinal fans. Cardinals would have won the 1985 World Series with replay. There's no doubt about that. But they didn't do enough to really close that door. They hit a $190 for the series. They gave the Royals 5 outs in that inning when they only needed 3, and they did not do enough to take the nuanced nature of that series out of question. And I think everybody wants to complain about the referee. Almost always is 100% the defeated team.
You want to talk about nuance, though. If that call goes their way, how do they feel on the outlook of the series? How do they hit? Because I'm telling you, from being on a football field and having a call go against me, it's demoralizing. It makes you play different. You can feel the reverberations throughout a team.
Shoulder shrug.
Right? So I think there's things that have been helped drastically, but we've gone way too far. I mean, the example I
thought it was just going to be the big stuff, and now it's everything.
The example I always bring up is in the NBA where a guy knocks it out and it rolls off the finger of the offensive player and they call it out on the offensive player. That was not what replay was originally.
It was the big stuff, inbounds, out of bounds, 3-point line.
Right.
Clock.
Right. Safer out at first.
And now we're down to on the second play of the game is the spot really the 37 and 3/4 line or the 37 and 1/4 line.
Yeah. I mean, it's
too myopic.
It's the changes are microscopic, but then there's also been the failed experiments in the NFL with the pass interference replay review. I knew from the beginning, Brett, that would be complete. When you leave anything in the eye of the beholder with a referee, there is going to be some calls missed and some calls made.
Sure.
And when that PI review came in, you just knew that it was not going to last. Now, on the other side, this show's not going to last. We have to get out. We only have about 15 minutes left in it, but we'll be right back to close it out with Taco Bell Crunch Time on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at.
The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portions, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
Looking to buy or sell a home in Mississippi? Don't know where to start? Rely on someone who has decades of calling Mississippi home. Someone who puts honesty, integrity, and clients first. Doug and Colin Brown, $1 million producers representing Regency Realty in Mississippi. This father-son combo will help you find your next dream home. Call Regency Realty at 901-350-5050 or direct at 901-598-9168 to schedule an appointment.
I got him on the line, Jeff Allen, the king of happy at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Hey folks, need a new ride that gets 41 MPG? 2021 Kia Forte, $249 a month. 2021 Kia Rio S hatchback, 41 MPG, only $258 a month. Plus a 2022 turbocharged Kia Soul, ready for that road trip at $267 a month.
Plus, you'll always get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program. Remember, Forte $249, Rio $258, Soul $267. And don't sell your trade till you check with us.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9%, $29.99 down payment. Forte, ME 409,215, MSRP 19,335. Rio, ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Sold, M 7808,276, MSRP 20,615. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/31/21. Dealer stock only.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time. As simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Back in to wrap up the Thursday edition of Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. Brian Dacus producing the program. Coming up at 7 p.m., we have all the NFL action for Thursday night football. Denver at Cleveland at 7 p.m. on 560 AM, 98.5 FM. Just wanted to give you that program note before we get to crunch time.
This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye. Hello, Haskins. It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over. Looking for something new at Taco Bell? Try the original tacos meets the instant classic, nacho fries. There's bound to be some magic. Nacho fries are essentially building blocks for culinary imagination. Slightly seasoned, go with bold spices. Warm nacho cheese and sour cream. Loaded taco fries are covered with seasoned beef, nacho cheese sauce, ranch, tomato, and shredded cheese. In short, the legend of nacho fries lives on.
Brett, what I learned today, and this is interesting, Jaguars defensive end Dwayne Smoot delivered him and his wife Amari's baby at
Have you
home.
heard the play-by-play?
Yes, I saw it this morning on ESPN with Sage
Unreal.
Steele. He said that he had to call into 911. They put a paramedic on the phone, and he had to cut off and deal with the umbilical cord himself. He delivered this baby while she was actually standing. She was not even laying down. They had to deal with that, but Alani Smoot was born at 4 a.m. in their living room. I listened to the play-by-play, and I was blown away that they were that calm in that situation.
Sage Steele was blown away, too. I saw the very same thing, same interview. And
I don't want to get too graphic,
he needs to be
use too
team
much
captain.
imagery. I don't want to use too much imagery, but he said it took a grand total of about a minute for their daughter to be delivered. And could you imagine waking up in the middle of the night and in a minute?
I'll say it. He said
your daughter's here.
He said it just popped out. It was full form baby sitting right there.
Right. I would have lost my mind. There's no way I would have kept my cool.
Sports story of the year right there. That's Huggins' terrible quote and that story all in the same day. I learned today that Houston and Atlanta are one win away from champagne flowing. Champagne will flow tonight in Los Angeles. And I don't know when the Braves charter would come back late tonight or in the morning, but it will be powered by champagne all the way back to Atlanta. They were close last year. They got to finish them off tonight. I'm for the Braves. Go Braves.
Go Braves. I'm excited for my Braves fans as far as my friends go and everything else. I am excited for them.
I've been at that happy moment. I know how they feel.
Yeah, I hope they can finish it off this time.
I'm ready to be back, too.
What I could have done without today, Brett. We talked about the Jeremy Pruitt situation, and he's trying to get his $12 million buyout, even though he was fired for cause. I learned today also 30 fire for cause provisions in his contract. And why I could have done without this also.
He violated them all.
Think about who they wanted to be the coach at Tennessee through that whole hiring process. John Gruden was one of the fan favorites that they mentioned. Jeremy Pruitt.
Schiano.
I wouldn't say, I'm going to get to Greg Schiano. Jeremy Pruitt was maybe not their favorite, but he was a guy that they're like, oh, we can settle on that. I remember Greg Schiano being poo-pooed as
practically named
a non-starter. They did not want him to be there. But you had John Gruden and a guy who's trying to hold your university hostage, and you scoffed at the mere thought of Greg Schiano. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, Schiano looks a little better out of all of that coaching search. But, yeah, the whole John – in Arkansas was the time that they thought they had John Gruden hired. It was laughable then. It's even more so now. Could have done without. It's not a defensive league anymore. Nobody's making any pretense around it. But last night, it's a good thing it wasn't a defensive league because nobody was trying to play any defense. That was Summer League or Bluff City Classic. With all the bells and whistles of opening night. It was fun for the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies play that up-tempo style, and I'm also glad that Coastal Carolina is off the scene. The idea that they should have been in some top 15.
I'm
laughable.
always there for a group of 5 team that's going to succeed, but they were given opportunities this year that I don't really think that they deserve. But tonight we're watching a lot of FBS football. Louisiana at Arkansas. FAU at Charlotte, San Jose UNLV, and the most important probably on the docket, Tulane and SMU. SMU 21 ranked in the country, Tulane 1-5 trying to get off the schneid.
SMU better be on upset lookout. Willie Fritz may have his team poised for a strong finish to October. Braves and Dodgers in Hollywood, must win for Broncos and Browns tonight. I think Broncos more for their coach. Stefanski's not going anywhere, but the Broncos need to win for a lot of reasons. Only 3 NBA games tonight, but I like them. Trae Young versus Luka early.
Huge.
And then Clippers Dubs late. Good variety.
Even the one not on TV tonight. Relatively good one. It's not on national TV at least.
Game day tomorrow for the Tigers too.
Game day for the Tigers. We'll break that all down tomorrow.
A lot of picks.
Quick note on the NLCS. Joe Kelly has actually been announced. It was Corey Knievel earlier that was going to be the opener. Joe Kelly will get the open versus Max Fried in Game 5. Good big closeout opportunity for the Braves tonight. But that's all we have for today. Thanks to Bill Bender. Thanks to Keith Smith. Thanks to Jason Munns for joining us. Thanks to you for listening. Tomorrow we have a loaded day. Alan Bell Bruce Marshall join us to talk about some of the weekend's games. Drew Barrett joins us. We'll have our first National Bank and Trust Friday football forecast. But for Bryant, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Have a good rest of the day, and we'll holler at you at 3 tomorrow.